And hopefully now you can hear me. Just a little bit of a technical issue with the microphone there. But hello and welcome to the stream. I still have a little bit of setting up here left to do, so do bear with me. Hopefully this will update in the chat that we're seeing here. Just bear with me 1 second. It is... Do we have sound now, or is that delayed? Just bear with me. I do rather hate technical issues. There we go. And hopefully we can get the chat up. Hopefully we can get the chat up. What is? Hopefully. It's deciding to be a bit of a git. So just bear with me. Hope we're all okay. You would think that I had prepared this stream a little bit better. I thought I had, but turns out I haven't. So just bear with me as I get this all set up. Hey, there we go. How are you, Zell? You alright? All good? It's that. It's that. I'm telling you, it's that. There we go. There's the chat. And it's covering me. There we go. Ah, brilliant. So, finally got there in the end. I do apologise for this lack of professionalism. The trouble is, you know, with YouTube... YouTube chat is a funny thing because you do like a pop-out chat and then you get it into your streaming window, and it's like that should work absolutely fine, and it doesn't in the end. There you go, that's better. Howdy, Jackie Doses, how are you? It's good to have you here. So, yeah, I thought I'd do a live stream. I thought I'd do a live stream chat where I'm just going to talk about Star Trek in general. And you guys can be part of the conversation and so on and so forth. And we'll just have a damn good natter. Terminal 2K. Pint of beer emoji. I wish. Well, to be fair, I don't wish because I don't really drink, but I do have a trusty tea in a travel mug. So yeah, I'm really living it large here. So yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about Lower Decks and the Voyager episode that I mentioned in our last stream. I was going to talk a little bit about some of the fan projects that I've seen recently. Which you guys told me about in the previous stream, which was the, I might be butchering the studio name, it's the JTVK or whatever it was. Let me see if I can just quickly pull it up on the old YouTube here. JTVFX, I beg your pardon. What about half a lager shandy? Yeah, I mean, I can drink a beer. It'll probably just go straight to my head, but a shandy will just make me go straight to the toilet. So, yeah. So JTV FX did a. They did a composure. No, like a. They did a video, and it was Wolf 359, using a combination of VFX that they've created, sections from The Best of Both Worlds and sections from Deep Space Nine's pilot episode, I believe. And I got done watching it about half an hour ago, and I was going to do a live reaction video, but I thought, well, they've got copyrighted content in their video. If I show that, I'm going to get copyright struck. Reva, hello, welcome to the stream. Good to have you here. And yeah, so I thought, you know what, I'll watch it and I'll just talk about it on the stream. because you guys had recommended it, and I thought, you know what, why not? I've got to say, I was really, really impressed with the level of detail that they went to. And it was really well edited and well put together. It's got some of the musical score from the episodes, of course, from the Best of Both Worlds and from the Deep Space Nine pilot. And it was really well put together. I think the only thing that sort of broke the immersion in some respects was they had 3D effects on some of the characters, that Admiral Hansen, for example, and it was just a still image, so they were still, but it was supposed to look like they were just looking intensely at what was going on. It didn't really work too well, in my opinion, but it was still very, 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 very well done. And the way it was put together, I mean, it's only part 1 of 2, because I believe that they did it so the fleet regrouped for the second part, which they're doing. And I thought it's really, really, really good. Just another watch nerd. Hello, just on our way back from an Arsenal women's match at the Emirates. Spoiler alert, they lost. Well, okay, then. It's more of a spoiler for anybody who watches football. I take it is football, because I don't do football. It's never ever been my thing. I had loads of mates growing up who were well into football, and I was just like, I don't like football. But yeah, I'm glad. I hope you had a nice time, even though they lost. Or maybe you were hoping they'd lose. I don't know. It's telling, Zell, it's telling that fan-made productions are better quality than a big studio with more money and resources. Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at, for example, the latest Star Wars series, like Kenobi and Ahsoka and everything, and they do all these special visual effects that cost millions and look like they cost a fiver, and you're looking at fan-made productions. The fan-made productions, in some ways, look better. Now, they're not always better, or they're not always worse. They're just great quality, these fan-made projects. And if you put the two side by side, well, yeah, there's nothing like it, is there? Well, they do so much. I think there's a lot more love, care, and attention, and I did comment on that video using my other account. Did they at least swap shirts at the end? Oh dear. Is it football? I tried the first episode of Star Trek Continues the other day. It definitely was better than anything post-Enterprise. Star Trek Continues, I've not done it. I think I tried it a few years back because it's been out for a while. It wasn't something that at that time I was really sort of interested in. I had a bit of an issue with a lot of fan-made productions. But I'm really sort of warming up to them. Because it's realizing that fans have more love for something than someone that wants to make money out of it. You know, these people want to make money out of Star Trek, and really, they're not doing a great job of doing that, are they? They're not making money out of this franchise. I mean, every company wants to make money. Anyone who's got intellectual property wants to make money out of that intellectual property. But if you don't understand what you've got, you might as well be someone who buys a restaurant who doesn't know how to run a restaurant. What's the point? You need experience in what you're doing to be able to control an IP in that sense. You need people who understand Star Trek. You need people who understand Star Wars. And a lot of the time, we just don't get it. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that War 359, and it made you consider things. Even a fan production like that, or an unofficial production such as that, made you think. Because the episode of the Next Generation, the Best of Both Worlds, yes, it gave you the outcome of the battle, and it gave you a few scenes with Hansen on the bridge saying, the fight does not go well. We are we're losing basically. But it didn't really give you the gravitas until you saw the graveyard, the ship graveyard, from the battle, with no survivors. And then you got Emissary, which, the pilot for Deep Space Nine. And it gave you a little bit more. It went into a little bit more depth. It did whatever its budget could do, because you're not going to have an entire fleet of starships in that sense. Of budget, you're not going to be able to afford to render that many ships on screen at any one time. But it did give a level of gravitas to the idea of War 359, but this was able to fill in a lot of the blanks, I suppose, and give you a sense of different crews that were, on different ships that were just obliterated. I believe there was some material from Star Trek Borg, or the Borg game, the PC narrative game, the live action one that some of the cast and crew film from previous Star Treks went on. I think John Delancey did it as well. I've not actually played Star Trek Borg. I don't think I've ever played it in my entire life, but I have seen most of it in YouTube form, I suppose. Zell, all Kurtzman and team have shown is that they only have a peripheral understanding of what Star Trek is. I'm not even sure it's a peripheral understanding. Really. If you think about it, they tried to tell us what Star Trek was, and said we were wrong if we believed that it was something other than what they were saying. They really, I don't think they get it. If they do, it is just such a basic guess at what it is. Just from, it's like they listen to one person or two people about what makes Star Trek Star Trek, and they don't have any connection or love to the franchise at all. They don't have any loyalty to the franchise, period. They bought it. They didn't earn the right to be there. It fell into their lap. And Kurtzman doesn't know Star Trek really the way we do. I'd like to know who's in charge of things like continuity and series lore and history, and bringing that through to the series, because so far I've seen very little. Now, Picard season 3 did it to some degree, and that was just a nostalgia trip from start to finish, and it was obviously it was done by Metalis, and it was a little different, but it wasn't Star Trek the way we remember Star Trek. It was still a serialized season of television. It had a ridiculous story. It had some good elements to the story, but it didn't do anything particularly new. And now they're on about making a Star Trek Picard movie, which I think will just be an absolute disaster. Mind you, I think a lot of their projects are going to be absolute disasters. Jackie Dozes, continuity and lore. I don't think they have anyone handling that at Secret Hideout. It's a fustercluck over there. Yeah, I think that's true. They always cherry pick what they want, and they cherry pick ideas, plots, and outcomes that suit their limited narrative, and they have no care in the world for the greater implications of what it is they're writing. They'll write a character out of character just to fit their narrative, but the character is unfamiliar to us because he or she is behaving in a way that it is completely alien to us and foreign to us. Reaver Jill Sandwiches. Those YouTubers kept saying you didn't need to see Picard seasons 1 or 2, but you did in order to understand part of what was going on in season 3, especially Robo Picard. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, any third season of a show is going to be referencing previous seasons. It wasn't crucial to watch those first 2 seasons, but you know, I wouldn't say that you could do it all and understand everything without seasons 1 and 2, for sure. Just another watch nerd. I think a lot more projects will be shelved and cancelled. Studios are less willing in this higher interest environments to finance vanity projects. Yeah, but they have to realise that these are vanity projects. They have to realise that these projects are the result of people's ego, and understand the fans' reaction. Now, you see, I've mentioned before that Facebook groups have this thing called most relevant comments. Okay, so you see the most relevant comments. If you go in to any Facebook post and click all comments, you'll see a more balanced approach to that post. Now, a lot of Paramount, CBS, or you know, Star Trek, pro Star Trek in all its new forms as well. These groups, they have posts. It doesn't give you a very broad, a very broad idea of the kind of opinions that people actually have. It's all most relevant, and those most relevant ones are usually all the positive ones. Now, I'm not saying that this is intentional. It could be, it might not be. I simply do not know. But I do think it's very interesting, and it sounds like they're listening to. They're only listening to people who speak their language and who will encourage them and what they're doing. You know, essentially, as is quite often referenced as the Drekkies. You know, people who will just lap up and consume anything that's put in front of them because it's got the name Star Trek. Now, with New Trek, I'll ask this question of anybody who says that, for instance, Discovery is really good. If you take the name Star Trek off of Discovery, yeah, and it wasn't about a facsimile of the Federation and Starfleet, which, let's say, if you took the name Star Trek out of Discovery, would it be a good sci-fi show or a bad sci-fi show? Now, 9 times out of 10 people will answer a bad sci-fi show. Well, the name Star Trek attached to it doesn't make it a good sci-fi show. It doesn't make it a good Star Trek show. It doesn't make it a good sci-fi show. It's terrible science fiction and it's terrible writing, regardless of whether it's got Star Trek attached to it. But because it's got Star Trek attached to it, people are lapping it up, saying, "Oh yeah, this is Star Trek. Oh yeah, more Star Trek, more Star Trek." And it's like, and other people will come up with this stupid argument, and it's a ridiculous argument that, oh well, the Next Generation wasn't very well received until many years later. And it's like, yes, but the Next Generation, okay, it started bad and it showed some promise and it got better, but Discovery has not, and it's been cancelled. That's got to tell you something. And they could say, well, Enterprise got cancelled too. It's like, yes, but that was more about the environment that it was being created in, rather than the quality of the show itself. It's more about the environment on the television. on the airwaves, the rating systems, and the fact that people thought Star Trek had suffered fatigue. But Star Trek Discovery, you take the word Star Trek out of it and it is Discovery. And it's a great concept, but it's a bad science fiction show because it's not about the science fiction. It's not about the science. It's about emotions. It's about I can't even tell you what it's about. It's about nothing. It's a big nothing burger. All it's over dramatized bollocks at the end of the day, and it's never going to be anything other than over dramatized bollocks. And the fact that Jonathan Frakes has come out and said it's going to be jam packed full of action tells you everything that you need to know about the 5th season. It's not going to be good stories. It's just going to be balls to the wall action. And that's not what Star Trek fans really want. Now, you have various different categories of Star Trek fans, of course. You have Star Trek fans who love the narrative, Star Trek fans who love the cool ships, Star Trek fans who love the idea of the Federation, and Star Trek fans who watch it for the interpersonal dramas, which they, to be fair, will probably make up a lot of New Trek fans because... the teen angsty New Trek fans who love Burnham crying and Spock being autistic and really sort of very anti-Spock, and all these other characters. I mean, Tilly, for God's sake, I don't ever want to see Tilly again on screen. I just don't. The character is just plain appalling. The only two characters that I actually really like from Discovery, and this is such a is a very I use it very lightly here. Is Saru and Lorca. Now, Lorca's out of it. Lorca was, I thought, pretty decent. He was before he became all fuckery. He was a decent character. I genuinely thought he was. But they bitch slapped him into another universe, and I didn't like what they did with him. Saru is mostly a good character, but he and in the first couple of episodes he showed some character, he showed some signs of being this really quite strong and firm person with a constitution and with morals and ethics and standing up against what Michael Burnham represents. And then he just falls over Burnham and just starts licking the floor where she stands or where she walks, worshipping, going, oh, rolling out the red carpet for it and everything. It was absolutely horrendous. And then Saru just, oh God, it was just horrendous. So those were the two characters that I liked, and the rest of Discovery was bullshit. I still don't know half the bridge crew's names, nor do I care. I mean, season 4, when if I've watched Enterprise, obviously all of Enterprise. I enjoyed Enterprise and everything, and it's been nearly 20 years since it went off air. Nearly, we're almost there. Got another year and a bit to go before then. So I can still tell you the names of all the main characters and some of the other lesser known characters, and the crew and the supporting characters. I can still tell you their names because they're memorable, because they were part of the story. They were intricate intricately woven into several aspects of Enterprise's overarching story, and they had their own episodes and their own focus. Discovery has nothing like that at all. Jackie Doses, the only thing Discovery discovered was those extragalactic aliens who were a rip-off of the movie Arrival. My favourite named species of all. Species 10C. What were they actually called? They were, I think it was actually called Unnamed Species 10C. Or something like that. They were horrendous. They were a horrendous plot line. It's horrible. Bog Body. Lorca was good. That's it. Yeah, I agree. Lorca was interesting. There was a bit of mystery. There's a bit of intrigue there. I figured out where he was from pretty much by about the 4th episode, and my wife just called me a git because I figured it out. But if I can figure it out, Mr. fucking Thicko Numbnuts here, then it's really bad writing. So I met someone recently who had never watched old Trek and only watched new Trek. After talking with them about the issues I have with modern Trek, I got them to go back and watch certain episodes of TNG. They came back a week later saying that they now understand why I have complaints that I had. There you go. There you go, Zell. That is exactly what we're talking about. New Trek is vapid. It's there's nothing there. There's nothing of any substance. You know. We can remember the name of Porthos, still a better character than any of Star Trek Discovery. Porthos. Jonathan Archer's dog. I love that dog. I wanted to adopt that dog. I love Porthos. He's brilliant. But Discovery, I know Burnham. I know Detmer. I know Tilly. Tyler? Saru. Stamps? No, Stamets. Beg your pardon, Stamps. Stamets, you know, that actor. What's the doctor's name? Oh God, this is live, and I can't. I'm challenging myself to an impossible task. What's the doctor's name? What's the doctor's name? I can't even remember the doctor's name. What's the name of the? Is it Jet? Something. The cocky engineer. Unfortunately, Tilly is bugging me. Picard's goldfish is more memorable. Yeah, it's very true. So yeah, there's a fine example, and yeah, those you could count those as the main cast, but I can't remember some of them, the names. Let alone the supporting characters on the bridge, and I've never known these supporting characters have names that A, you can't remember, and B, they get like screen time only because Burnham says, "Oh, we should give them some screen time," in the Star Trek way, you know. She brings it cracked me up towards the end of the last season. Was it the last season with 10C? I can't even remember. It's all a garbled mess. I still remember when she called them down to the cargo bay just to speak to them and tell them how awesome she was. They all agreed and then buggered off. Which I thought was absolutely hilarious. I thought Tilly was the anomaly devouring planets. I'm not going to speak of physical appearances. I have done that before in a jokey way and I got called out for it. So I'm not going to do that this time round. I agree. It's you know, it's not particularly in good taste to do it. But to me, Tilly it's not that it's not a physical issue. It's more of a it's like that ensign in Next Generation. I can't remember her name, but she is like engineering. I think it was in the episode Q Who. She spills a drink on Captain Picard because she's all nervous and everything. And I think, well, if she had continued to be a character in Star Trek, in the Next Generation, and we'd have seen more of her, she'd have grown out of things like that, but it would still have been annoying. And Tilly annoys me with her personality and the way she is. But it's also the reaffirming that Tilly is awesome. And obviously, yeah, I agree from the previous stream, there was no way in hell she was beating a young athletic Asian officer in a race around the ship. It's just not possible. The strain that it would put on her body to even match this this young ensign, unless this young ensign, this young fellow was a heavy smoker. He may have been smoking quite heavily. I don't know, but Tilly is not a good character. Tilly is annoying as hell. I don't like it. I don't like that show. And I don't like the characters. And Strange New Worlds, well, Strange New Worlds. I'm not sure I've got the energy to go into Strange New Worlds, but I will if you want me to. But I did want to talk a little bit about Lower Decks. Jackie Dose is a more memorable Discovery bridge crew. Porthos, Data's cat Spot, Bartley's cat Neelix, and a Tribble. Yeah, more memorable. I mean, didn't they did that short trek with the Tribbles, didn't they? With that officer and he's an idiot. And they had the annoying fucking commander or whatever it was, played by that actress. I can't remember her name, and she was just horrendous. Galaxy Quest has a more memorable crew. Absolutely. I love Galaxy Quest. It was so good. Strange New Worlds, Emo Spock. Yeah, I don't think anyone particularly liked that choice with Strange New Worlds. I didn't like a lot of choices with Strange New Worlds. Ortega's pisses me off. But I'll give Strange New Worlds its due. I do remember almost all of the bridge crew's names. That's because, obviously, some of them have been names in Star Trek for quite some time. Who can forget Captain Pike? Who can forget Number One? Who can forget Spock and Uhura? And Scotty? I can't forget Ortega's because I've said her name so many times during my reviews that it's just become a name that reverberates in the back of my mind and slowly causes this part to just drop off. Barista Spock. Yeah. Oh, the episode when he turned into a human was just beyond reproach. It was just beyond stupid, and it was unforgivable in my opinion. Season 2 of Strange New Worlds was a big step down, and I thought season 1 was just mid. Yeah, season 1 I think was a fair attempt. It wasn't great and it wasn't terrible. It was a fair attempt to try and recapture some of the magic and bring more fans into the franchise. And I think to some degree it worked because there's a lot of people who liked the direction that it went in, and there was other people like me that just didn't. Hemmer is the only Star Trek character on Strange New Worlds. I completely agree. I said it in my reviews. I quite liked Hemmer. He was... at first I thought, oh my god, they're just doing an abrasive officer again just for the sake, just because it's cool. But what they actually did with Hemmer whilst they weren't killing him off, I thought was really good. Yeah, he worked quite well. Pike's hair was growing to the point he was looking like Johnny Bravo. And yeah, a lot of people made that reference, and the memes. Oh, the memes. They were all over the place. I absolutely loved the memes with the big hair. It was really good. I said I wanted to talk about Lower Decks, because I watched the Star Trek Voyager episode. I was going to make a few notes about what I saw in the episode that pissed me off, but I thought I'd just wing it. It might be a mistake, it might not. That episode, if you've not seen it, is like a Voyager tribute episode. Instead of tributing it, it mocks it. I think diminishes a lot of what Voyager was. Voyager, as we discussed in the last stream, was a bit of a missed opportunity, a bit safe. It was a bit silly at times, which is fine. Every Star Trek has the right to be silly, even the new ones. But I found that episode to be really disrespectful and to completely take the piss out of people who enjoy Star Trek. And that seems to be all these short treks are doing. Now, the short treks, geez, I've heard about them. I've heard the latest one is a bit better, but I've heard about the other ones, and it is just like a bunch of 5-year-olds writing these things. If you wanted to do an animated Star Trek show, it's entirely possible for you to do. You can do it easily. You didn't need to make it a comedy. You didn't need to make it the next Rick and Morty. It didn't need to be that, because you can write great Star Trek stories simply and animate them easily with far less of a budget, and you can tell these stories. You could even do what those JTVFX guys have done with Lower Decks. You could make a Star Trek episode that's set between during the battle, and you can animate it and have all of these crews dying and all the tragedy being shown, but in animated form. It doesn't need to be a comedy. It can be very mature animation, a very maturely animated show aimed at adults, and with the option of bringing in a younger audience, like the animated series did. But Lower Decks is such a waste. It's such a waste. All of these characters on Lower Decks, they're like teenagers from our time. No, Star Trek didn't have that. It drives me up the wall. Jimmy77, I just can't take modern Star Trek seriously. No one can. No one can. And I think that's kind of the point that the creators of these shows are trying to make. You take it way too seriously. You shouldn't take it seriously. Don't take our stuff seriously. It's like, well, we do take Star Trek seriously. Seriously as something that we love. We don't. A lot of us have jobs and lives and people in our lives and things of that nature. Family, and we get out and go to work. We get up every day, and we want a little bit of escapism. We want a little bit of optimism, a bit of a break from reality. But we want it grounded and believable. And Star Trek's believable because it's based in science. It always has been. It's believable. But New Trek isn't based in science. It's based on magic and woo-woo. Don't get me wrong, Star Trek has embellished now and then with its with its ideas, but it's always tried to keep a scientific baseline. And all Discovery goes is, oh yeah, look at this, look at these magic mushrooms throughout space, with giant tardigrades that can travel this mycelial network that's like magic, and there's no explanation rooted in science as to how they're able to instantaneously jump from one end of the galaxy to another. It's such a poor treatment of a superb franchise. I haven't even I haven't even gotten to the middle of that comment, Zell, and I completely agree with you. Lower Decks just makes me feel personally attacked. Exactly. Now, is that a me problem? A you problem? Probably. But it's about preference, isn't it? What would we prefer to have? A grown-up, mature, animated show with Star Trek-style stories, with visual effects that you couldn't make cheaply in live action, and with possibilities like bringing back characters like they did in Lower Decks with Odo and all of these, bringing back characters whose actors have passed just as a tribute or a way of filling in the blanks. Now, I know that's part of what the strikes have been about, and we can get into that later, but it's just such a waste. It really is. It's almost like it's written by people who used to bully Star Trek fans. Yes! My thoughts exactly. You hit the nail on the head there. It is really like someone has come in and gone, right, look at these little fuckers and the things that they love. We're going to destroy it and put something else in front of you. It's horrendous. Voyager is the most rewatchable series in my opinion. Yeah, I tend to rewatch all of Star Trek. That's TNG, DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise. The original series, I'm trying to get past. A bit of a generation gap there. I grew up watching it when I was younger, but I struggle to rewatch it more because I don't have the time to watch 3 seasons of a show. But it's something that I'm trying to get past because I'll need to. I really should have done it by now. DS9 is most rewatchable. Again, I agree. I think all the 4 series are, with the exception of the first 2 seasons of The Next Generation. I cherry pick episodes that I want to watch. I've seen them all, but I cherry pick episodes that I want to watch. Now, if I was writing some Next Generation, I'd watch the whole fucking lot, which they don't do. I'll be honest, despite being a kid's show, Prodigy isn't too bad. You know what? I've actually made it about 6 episodes into Prodigy already. And it's all right. It's okay. It's not too bad. You can tell it's a kid's show, but it has still... I think it has a better idea of what Star Trek is than any of the other shows. Excuse me while I gulp tea. If Lower Decks was a serious Star Trek series, I'd watch it, but it's just slapstick and yelling. Yeah, it's Rick and Morty, mate. That's all it is. And it's a parody of Star Trek. But you can't do a parody of Star Trek if you own Star Trek. That's up to other shows to do. If you want to make a parody of Star Trek, do the Orville. And even the Orville has become a serious show. Lower Decks is just not my cup of tea at all. It is horrendously bad, in my opinion. Lower Decks is at its best when it mixes a serious plot with comedy. I think they saved it for the end of the season. Prodigy was far better. Yeah, I agree, Jackie. So far, I've not hated Prodigy. It's been okay. No, it's based on tiers and large elevators. Paladin Alec, welcome. And while Berman era Trek is my absolute fave, it's sad to see how many stories of actors that wanted to leave the show there were. I'm okay with Lower Decks, but I absolutely understand anyone that doesn't want to watch it. Yeah, and I think that's a great attitude to have. And people hurl their feces at me because I say that New Trek is generally bad, and they say, well, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And I'm not in any way trying to tell people not to watch it. I'm simply giving my opinion, hence my channel and the things that I do. Matthew Ross, yes, their new shows are like a poor marksman. They keep missing the target. Yeah, Jackie knows is well, you don't like turbolift shafts that you can fly a shuttlecraft through. That made no sense to it. It's like they all live on the edges of the hull on the inside, and the rest, the internals of the ship, are literally just turbo lifts. I mean, it was just staggeringly shit. Oh God, and I still can't get over it. That's just a monumental mistake, isn't it? Uber Jeffries tubes, yeah. I see what you did there. Star Trek 2 quote by Kirk Khan, yeah. Watch it at UK Danger Man. It will remind you when the world was new. Make you feel young again. Like the world is new. And interesting. You're going to be surprised by how good Prodigy gets in episode 8. I can understand, and I can agree that it is very good. I can watch Lower Decks like I'm watching The Big Bang Theory. The characters are nerds with a lot of Star Trek knowledge. Strange New Worlds is like a CW relationship show, yeah. The Big Bang Theory. Wow. The Big Bang Theory. You see, I used to like The Big Bang Theory. I still do to a certain degree, but I don't like the message that they send. My camera's gone blurry. Bear with me on that one. Stupid camera. Stupid camera. Stupid camera. Does that now and then. It's got autofocus on and everything. It's like it forgets. The Big Bang Theory. There we go. The Big Bang Theory. At first I was really into it because it was dealing with geek culture, and the characters are in some way very relatable. And it was like, those are my people. They like Star Trek. Look, they got the action figures, they got the collectibles, they quoting Star Trek all the time. They live, they breathe nerdvana. You know what I mean? The problem with the show is the characters that the trio of guys, Sheldon, Howard, and Raj. They are slowly, they are constantly bullied by their other halves for liking what they like, and criticised for liking what they like, and slowly, and they are bullied, and a lot of the time they bend over backwards. You know, it's like Leonard. He'll give up all of his interests and hobbies just to be able to sleep with Penny. But that's not the point of a relationship. If my wife tried to put all my collectibles into storage and say that I need to grow up and I need to not like something that I like anymore, she wouldn't be my wife. I can guarantee you of that. And she knows that. And same would go for me being her husband. If I said, right, we got to stop liking Lord of the Rings. Come on, grow up. You know, take down that Lord of the Rings picture. You know, get rid of the books. I wouldn't be her husband for very long. So I didn't like what that show did to geek culture. At first, it was like, these are my people, and then it slowly became very anti-nerd geek culture, and the characters are just horrendous people. I don't actually think there's a single redeeming character in that show. Because if you think about it, all the characters are just horrible people, you know, just awful, including the women, you know, the men and the women, and the way they treat other people is despicable. It's despicable. Anyway, enough about Big Bang. I can still watch it. It's still on in the background because it's just background noise. That's what it's become. But I tell you something before I leave the subject of the Big Bang Theory, is Young Sheldon. If you've not seen Young Sheldon, I would suggest you watch Young Sheldon. It is a quaint little show, and it's really good. And all the actors do a fantastic job. And I think it's really, it's unlike any spin-off from any sitcom I've ever seen. And I think it tells a really good story. All the actors do fantastic, and there's a lot of great cameos in there. But we enjoy Young Sheldon. But again, that's become kind of background noise now. Anyway, enough about that. Yeah, those Turbulose shafts were hilarious. That was one word for them. I've been watching Star Trek Continues. It's a fascinating watch. It definitely captures the right feel. Again, I will watch Star Trek Continues at some point. Zell, I blame the Big Bang Theory for a lot of geek culture's problems today. Bloody hated it. Give me Blackadder. Well, give me Blackadder anytime, mate. Absolutely fantastic show, Blackadder. But the Big Bang Theory, like I say, I thought when it first came out it was really good because it was speaking to the culture at the time. Jeffrey Moy, I enjoyed Prodigy's first season, but Paramount Plus pulled the show before I could watch the second season, which is so odd, isn't it? To pull their own intellectual property. I mean, I know it's Nickelodeon as well, isn't it? But still, that's crazy. I think the reason why it feels like Trek is because Holly Janeway is there to say what Trek is about. Yeah, and one thing I've noticed with her is she doesn't talk about the Federation like it's flawed, like it's a problem, like it's problematic. You know, she talks about the Federation in a positive way, and actually talks about it accurately, which is what I've taken from this show. Robert Meyer Burnett compares Strange New Worlds to a Star Trek tribute band. Yeah, not a very good Star Trek tribute band. Yeah. Best tribute band I ever saw was Australian Pink Floyd, and I will never, ever, ever go to see them again, because the one time that I did go to see them, I went with my father, with my dad, and I don't ever want to see them again because that experience was incredible, and I feel that if I go again, it will just be ruined because he's not there. Anyway, enough about the sadness. Enough about the sad stuff. Yeah, it does. It's not a very good tribute band. It's really not. It's kind of like really cheap costumes, cheap get-up, and they really missed the point. It would be like me who hates ABBA trying to join a tribute band that's a tribute band to ABBA and then just singing out of key. You know, ABBA's quite popular for. Lower Decks should be renamed to Reference-orama. I like that. Reference-orama, like Futurama, but Reference-orama. It feels to me that their filler-ish eps this season betray no ideas. Yeah, if all you've got is filler, it's no good. You know what I find annoying about Lower Decks? Is Boimler and Mariner. The other characters are just the other characters. Boimler and Mariner. Boimler's just this idiot, and Mariner's got to fix everything. And Mariner fixes everything every goddamn fucking episode. Every goddamn fucking episode. And the one that I saw, which was I believe the Voyager one, she got a fucking promotion. Boimler got a promotion because he saved the day. But Mariner got a promotion because off the back of his promotion because she convinced him that he's the one to save the day. So she's always right about everything. It gets tiresome and ridiculous, and I've just had enough of it. So I can't watch it. It's just horrendous. I think The Big Bang Theory put pop culture in the spotlight and made it mainstream with the popularity of the show, which is why it's cool to be into that stuff now. Yeah, and it dilutes it, doesn't it? It dilutes the fandom, dilutes the culture of geekdom, the geek culture. It brings in, quote, normies to franchises like this, and they get diluted, thinned out, and ruined. And I think that's where The Big Bang Theory really did us a disservice. Interesting. I'll give Young Sheldon a try. I think it's not, obviously, it's not a sitcom. It is a show. So there's no audience or anything like that. And I think it's a cute show with a great family, because Sheldon's family is a great family, and it is a typical family from the 80s and 90s. It reminds me a lot of what my family was like when I was growing up. So that's why I sort of have a special place for it, I suppose. I really do like it. Young Sheldon is good. Sadly, at a certain point, they stopped caring about matching canon to Sheldon's Big Bang Theory backstory. Still good stuff. Well, yeah, they're limited. With any kind of prequel, they're limited. And my wife and I aren't looking forward to the demise of a certain character, but you know, the way my wife and I theorize it is we theorize that although Sheldon's got an eidetic memory, he's misremembering certain things through the trauma of what's happened. So we think that he's not caught his dad in bed with another woman, he caught his mum in bed with another man. But because his faith in his mother is so unerring, he transferred it over to his dad. I didn't want to really talk about Big Bang Theory too much, but yeah, that's a theory that we're sort of going with, is that it's not Sheldon's dad that was unfaithful, it's Sheldon's mum. But his faith in his mum is so unwavering, and his mum's like this you know, this huge figure in his life. It's just easier to claim that his dad did it. Hollow Janeway's explanation of the Federation was great in that, and was not a takedown. Yeah, I'll have to keep watching Prodigy, although it's been cancelled. I don't mind. I'll watch it. Prodigy also gave us Jellicoe again with Ronnie Cox voicing him. Spoiler. Well, thanks for that, Zell. Yeah, fantastic spoiler, that. Oh, not going to watch it now. You spoiled it. Spoiler alert. Nah, it's fine. Yeah, I kind of remember seeing something with Jellicoe. Jellicoe was great. What do you think of Rod Roddenberry being a producer on New Trek? Cashing in? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Cashing in. It's like Tolkien estate now, isn't it? Just money. It's all about the money. It's not about the art. It's all about the money, and that's Hollywood right now. All about the money. We've got to make money. Star Trek Resurgence is better than any of the new shows, mate. I've done 2 streams so far on Star Trek Resurgence, and I've nearly burst into tears with happiness, because it is such an amazing game, and it puts you right in the Star Trek world, and it feels like the Star Trek world. It really does. Oh, this stream's doing much better than my previous streams. Yeah, I'm liking this. Thank you all so far for the comments. It's been absolutely great to be having this conversation with you, and it's going to go on for a while. So I hope you're comfortable. I think I'm comfortable. Mariner is just Tawny Newsome. Having met her on the cruise, she is Mariner. Yeah, Mariner. Not a big fan, to be honest. No, I don't. She's just another Mary Sue. She's the answer to everything, and she's insubordinate, and she's mutinous, and all of these bad traits. But she's treated like she's just let off the hook all the freaking time, and she's. You know, it's like she makes everything her victory, and makes everything her achievement. So Boimler getting his promotion was all down to her. It's ridiculous. What kind of fucking narcissist piggybacks off of other people's success? Fucking hate that. Now I've seen, for example, I've seen YouTubers. I've seen stories and seen YouTube videos on YouTubers that go to these big main YouTubers, you know, and try and piggyback off their success. So they they'll copy and paste their name in, and they'll name drop them, and they'll try and get their attention, saying, "Hello, I'm a small YouTuber. Hello, Mr. Big YouTuber," and then they'll shit on them and claim that all of the the small YouTubers, well, all their success is based on their own success, and it's so complicated. And I just think, you know what, I hate people like that. I really do. I don't like to I don't ever try and piggyback off other people's fucking success. Good luck to them if that's, if they're successful. And nothing, but I hate doing that. I hate doing that. It's why this channel doesn't grow, because I don't actively seek out other YouTubers. I'll name drop and tag. I think I've done it with the Drinker and Dave Cullen. Not the first time, but the second. I referenced one of his videos, and I shared a link to the video. But that's the most I'll do. These YouTubers don't want they probably don't even know I exist, and if they do, they think I'm not big enough to go anywhere. But I don't really care if I go anywhere. This channel is my conduit to you guys. And if people don't like it, they don't subscribe. And if people do like it, they do subscribe. It's interesting. I had someone say, "Well, why don't you buy subscribers?" So, why? Why should I buy subscribers? If you like this channel, subscribe to it. If you don't, leave it alone. Go away. Go see some other YouTuber. It's up to you. Fucking unbelievable, some of these people. Oh, Matthew Ross with a $10 super chat. Yeah, you really don't need to super chat, but thank you so much for your PlayStation fun and your old man Picard voice. Well, I'll read a couple of the comments. Have you got another comment? Yeah, okay. I'll read your previous comment and the super chat in the Picard voice. I wonder if Rod, who claimed he didn't like or understand Star Trek, is sabotaging Trek as revenge against his father. For your PlayStation fund and your old man Picard voice, thank you. It takes a lot of energy to do that, to be fair. Thank you for that super chat. That was really kind of you. Thank you. It's all about money and pandering, virtue signaling. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's become. Who are some of the YouTubers in the Trek space you follow right now? Mine are mostly you and Nitpicking Nerd. Yeah, I like Nitpicking Nerd. I follow the Drinker. I follow Dave Cullen. He's a superb YouTuber. So is the Drinker. They're my two favourites, I think. I follow Az. Heel versus Babyface. I don't think he covers Star Trek too much. I follow Robert Meyer Burnett, but his stuff doesn't pop up on my YouTube very often. And I think it's about the frequency, about how often you go to these channels. There have been a few channels, smaller channels, that don't like what I do. Because they like new Trek more than old Trek, and they don't like my opinion on new Trek. So I have had a few correspondence from people who don't like what I do, but my point is very clear. If you don't like what I do, I'm not going to change for you. I can try and answer your questions. There was one on a previous stream, I believe, Positronic Hypersonic. He said he was asking me why I don't rate Strange New Worlds fairly, or my rating system doesn't seem to be very fair, or it seems confusing. And I've just, all I can say to that is, if you know, he mentioned that I was saying that Strange New Worlds is better than Discovery, so ergo it must be good. I said, well, that's not the case. Discovery is bad. It's bad. It's bad Star Trek. It's bad science fiction. Strange New Worlds is better than Discovery. It's still bad science fiction. It's better than Discovery, but it's still in the realm of bad. And people don't seem to be able to understand that. So yeah, other YouTubers, I mean, I'm fairly new to YouTube, and some of these guys are absolute veterans and legends. I think the drinkers are amazing. I have had correspondence from the drinker before, and he's an absolute genuine guy. He's so nice, and he gave me a no, basically, to appearing on Happy Hour, because some of his subscribers had gone, oh, you know, I'd like to appear on your Happy Hour, and he's had them on. And I at the time I thought, you know what, let's just try my luck and see if I can get a Happy Hour. And he said no, but he said no in such a nice way. He was an absolute gent. And Dave Cullen, he commented on one of my videos. I don't think he liked my Picard reviews, but each into their own. The guy is an absolute legend. I love his videos, and he's on the ball a lot of the time. I thought Mariner wanted to avoid authority, and that's why she's willing to push other people ahead of her. But I've only seen the first 2 seasons. I suppose, yeah, she wants to avoid authority, but the fact of the matter is, anyone who wants to avoid authority and that kind of responsibility because they can't be bothered to lead and don't want to do it, you don't promote them. It's a case of they've shown that they're not willing and interested in the job. Ergo, you don't promote them. You don't you know, if she's pushing people in front of her to get promoted, then she doesn't need a promotion herself. The pandering and dilution clearly isn't working, though. Shows getting cancelled and Disney dying a slow death. But despite losing money and fans, they seem to be determined to double down. Yeah, it's an odd problem, isn't it? A narcissist will never, ever, ever, ever admit that they are in the wrong. They'll never admit that they are in the wrong. And that's piss poor. What a piss poor state it's in. Disney won't admit that they have a huge problem, and they are so out of touch that they are essentially dying a death. And I don't think it's a slow death. I think it's speeding up a lot. In my opinion, I get tired of YouTubers tossing the woke term about too much. Still boggles the mind that the writers can't seem to make a solid 10-episode season. If we had the same writing quality of Andor, we'd be sitting pretty. Yeah, exactly. When you get tired of YouTubers tossing the woke term around, well, I'll be honest with you, so am I. I'm getting a little sick and tired of it. But it's only because it's kind of true that it's just everywhere now. And I don't mind woke ideology in certain ways. There's there's no problem with people who have different race, different sexual orientation, gender, anything. Doesn't matter whether you're tall, short, fat, thin. It doesn't matter. What I hate is when it's being continuously referenced and rammed down your throat, and then they will turn around and tell you that you are the problem. That's where I have a huge problem. And that's what I don't like. The message is, Drinker says about the message all the time. And it's true, it's everywhere. But that's just the state of everything. The fact that it's there is, I think, what's putting people off. The fact that it's there and they are drilling it into you. Oh, look, this character is non-binary. I don't care. He's there to pilot the ship. You want to do an interesting story about his struggle to pilot the ship? Go do it. His sexual preferences matter not through his capability of doing his job. First and foremost, he's a gay man. Secondly, he's a pilot in the Star Trek. But the most important thing is he's gay, by the way. Or should it be, he's a pilot. He's married to a man in his personal life, but he's a pilot. He's the greatest pilot. He's the greatest pilot on the ship. And he enjoys classical music and plays hockey, or Parisi squares, or he likes domjot, and he plays it with his husband. There's a nice subtle reference to the fact that he's gay. It's not saying he's gay, he's gay, he's gay. It's saying that he's a fine pilot. These are his interests. Oh, and he's married to a man. That's the difference between that and what they're doing now. Is they're going, the most important thing is he's gay. He's gay. And we'll show you he's gay. We'll show you the engineer's gay. And he's gay for the doctor. And they're in a relationship and they kiss and they go to bed. We'll show you all that stuff. Because we're trying to shove it down your throats. Star Trek never did that. It simply said, this is it. Dax has a lesbian kiss on Deep Space Nine with a woman who's got the symbiont who was in love with the Dax symbiont. It was never the focus of the lesbian kiss in the story. The story was what it was. The fact that they had the lesbian kiss mattered not to the story. It helped it, but it wasn't focused on as part of the story. None of it matters. Doesn't matter what you look like, where you're from, who you are. You want to do a story based on that? Fine. Do it in Dawson's Creek. You could even do it in Star Trek if you wanted to, but you have to make a story that's in a sci-fi show that's based around science fiction, and make the character elements, those particular elements, the less important ones to the story, make them secondary. I might lose some subscribers now. I might. I'm just saying. But that's my opinion. Don't make it all about the woke ideology. You can still have it there. Nobody in their right mind particularly minds that characters are gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, trigender. It doesn't matter. What matters is the story that you're trying to tell. And this is what Disney's getting wrong. This is what Star Trek is getting wrong. This is what Paramount's getting wrong. CBS. This is what Hollywood is getting wrong. It's about who can say the biggest thing, or the most extravagant thing about ideology. Doesn't matter. Give us stories. Put that stuff in if you want, but don't make it about that when it's not about that. It's literally like, someone being bisexual and bringing it into every conversation with every person they meet. It's the old vegan thing, isn't it? Oh, I'm vegan, by the way. Oh, are you? We weren't talking about that. We were talking about particle physics, but you're vegan. So, thanks for letting me know. Well, that was a bit of a rant. I do apologise. That's a great way to describe woke culture. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, another super chat. You ain't losing subscribers. We're here for this group therapy. Oh, thank you so much, Zell. Oh, bless you. Oh, you guys, seriously. Thank you very much, Zell. Woke equals message and ideology over story and characters. Yeah, I think that again is pretty much it. I've got no issue with you, having your characters be non-binary or refer to themselves as with different pronouns. Fine, do whatever. Doesn't matter. You want to race swap the Little Mermaid? Fine, but don't make it about that. Don't make it about race. Don't make it about gender. Don't make it about anything. This is a sci-fi show. Make it about science fiction. I really liked, and I said this to the wife yesterday, we were having a conversation, I was scrolling through Netflix. I liked the Lost in Space Netflix show. Slap me if you want. I liked it. I did. And they did a thing where they, what was it? Was it one of the characters, one of the Robinson family? Forget her name now, it escapes me, but they race swapped her. They made her black. Now, or a person of colour. Don't know whether you can say black or... It doesn't matter. Again, why does it matter? It's a word. She's a person of colour. And they race swapped her. But they came up with a perfectly rational explanation in the story of why she was race swapped. Why she was black, rather than being white. And it's the fact that the Robinson family isn't a nuclear family. That's the only change they made. The rest of the show I thought was really good. I was entertained, and I'll tell you one actual way of telling if I like a show, and that's whether I'll binge watch it, and I want to watch the next episode. And Lost in Space did that for me. It's really good. They made Dr. Smith a woman, but again, they had a good explanation. They didn't just go, she's a woman now, by the way. They had her steal the identity of Dr. Smith. That, I thought, was really clever. And that was a really, really clever way of achieving what you wanted to achieve, because you wrote it into the story in a believable way. And you didn't just go, yeah, accept it as what it is. You wrote it in a way that people went, okay, that makes sense. You made it a believable change. Fucking unreal. I'm getting behind on comments here. Bogbody, I'm still waiting on Strange New Worlds to actually explore Strange New Worlds. Why make a show called Strange New Worlds if it's just Strange New Feelings? If it's all internal, story explanation, which is fine, but don't make it a show about exploring space when you're making a prequel that's called Strange New Worlds. How? And you realise the mammoth task you're coming up with, and you only did it because of Pike, because Pike was so popular from Discovery. The problem with the term woke is it's a nebulous term, which means different meaning to different people. I'd rather focus on the more substantive issues, such as the writing of the characters, etc. Exactly, and it does detract from talking about the writing, but in some ways, isn't the writing attached to how woke they're trying to make it? And it's unnecessary. It's like the roots of a tree. It's all there. It's all sort of weaved its way in to all the factors that make a good TV show or a bad TV show. And I think for the most part, it makes a bad TV show. Yeah, but it feels that any new show or movie that has a lead female protagonist or person of colour, some fans have had that term driven into them, automatically write it off, and woke doesn't mean that. No, you're absolutely right, it doesn't. Woke is... yeah, woke is an easy word to say, I love female leads in things. I love black female leads in things. I love white female leads in things. I love black male leads in things. I love white male leads in things. It doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter at all, as long as they're a strong lead. If they're not a strong lead, then you've got nothing. It's like Janeway. The character of Janeway was a strong lead, a capable captain, a capable character, deeply flawed. But the fact of the matter is, nowadays she wouldn't be flawed at all. Yet she would. But they'd write those flaws as positive traits. Excuse me. T's repeating. Real diversity in Trek. Everyone, every stripe exists. It's all normal. Let's find out what's in that nebula. Yeah, I agree completely. It's about finding what's in that nebula, not. Oh, by the way, our crew is the most diverse crew in the fleet. Don't you know? You don't. Imagine that. Imagine them turning up to like for World Federation Day or whatever it was in Picard season 3 and say, and the award for the most diverse crew goes to, oh yes, for the 100th year running, the Starship Discovery, which we can't actually talk about because it's classified. So we're automatically going to give it to the crew of the Enterprise. And Picard's like, I have the most diverse crew in the fleet. And he goes, actually, not that Enterprise. It goes to Pike. And he had the most diverse crew in the history of the Federation, apart from Discovery. But because it's A, because it's classified, and B, because we can't remember their names. Unfortunately, they haven't been. They're not actually here to collect their gift. What we are going to do is we're going to make another one, shove it in a time capsule for them to find 900, oh, actually, it's about 700 years from now. So, yes. Well done, Discovery. Well done. Most diverse crew. It's not about that. You can't explore space without a diverse crew, don't you know? Drives me up the wall. It's not about that. Star Trek is not about that. It's never been about that. It had it in it, but it was never drilled the same way as it is drilled now. Graham Chapman said it best about gays in pop culture. Oh, I've not seen that one. I might have to actively search that one out. I watched Balance of Terror again last night. Imagine Styles snarking back to Kirk. How they do in Strange New Worlds. He does kind of, but it gets shut down by Kirk. And Kirk shut people down because Kirk was no bullshit. Pike is so emasculated at this point. His bridge is pretty much ram-packed with females, and there's no equality there, is there? There's no diversity in the sense of gender. It's like you've got Spock, who might as well just be completely, what do you call it? Androgynous. Because, yeah, he might as well be. And he's got Pike cannot say no to anyone and can't bollock him for speaking out of turn. It's fucking ridiculous. Pardon my French. Well, every episode should have an idea and message, but it has to be shown through character and story plot. When you sacrifice your story and character because of the message, that's woke. Yeah, value of nothing, completely agree. Matthew Ross. A colleague liked the Strange New World musical episode because, it's fun. Yeah, been there. Yet he never saw any of the others, and when confronted with how there's too much parody, I'm told to relax. Yeah, you have no idea how often this YouTuber is told to calm down because he may develop angina or something. You have no idea how many people comment on my videos saying, dude, you need to calm down. It's just relax. It relax and enjoy the ride. It's like, no, because the ride's shit. And it used to be a lot better. It's like Alton Towers, they're rebuilding Nemesis. Do you reckon if they're going to rebuild Nemesis and they make it shit, people ain't going to complain? We had this awesome roller coaster, guys, and now it's down for maintenance. By the way, we're redesigning it to be 100% more shit. But people liked it. No, people were wrong. The way we're going to do it is going to be amazing. People will thoroughly enjoy it. And then when people call it shit, it's like, well, you're racist. Yeah, you're sexist. You're xenophobic. You're homophobic as well. All the X. Imagine it. So it's like your favourite restaurant. I think YouTube have referenced this, so it's not my original thought. But yeah, it's like your favourite restaurant. If they suddenly start serving shit food and they weren't before, you're going to fucking complain. Because it's different than what it was. And then when people go, well, it's a tasty burger. It's a fucking shit burger. You used to do a gourmet burger. Now you've got something that some spotty teenager has slapped together and called it a burger with about that much sauce. Netflix Lost in Space was good. They also made Dr. Smith Parker Posey. That's right. The dude was killed off, and the actor that played Will Robinson, forgetting the name. Yeah, it's very clever. To be fair, the original Dr. Smith was rather effeminate. Yeah, and I think in the recent Lost in Space movie, the Matt LeBlanc one, Gary Oldman played him very sort of cowardly and kind of effeminate in some ways as well. There are stories. More like a bankruptcy of ideas. Yeah. The way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a new crew member who was a black, disabled, trans, non-binary lesbian with rickets. Fucking Jesus. Janeway, she killed Tuvix. Yes, she did. John Cho. She murdered Tuvix. Yeah. That was a controversial decision, wasn't it? Fucking Jesus. The chicken in Lost in Space didn't have enough lines, and I was triggered. Oh, the chicken, yeah, it was brilliant. Oh, what was his name? The chicken's name? Debbie? Dorothy? Dottie? Oh, I can't remember, but it's like Debbie the chicken or something like that. It's so funny. For me, woke means that you're aware of the abusive history of marginalised sectors of the population and can be an ally for equality. I agree that the way they use in Trex is abusive. Yeah, completely agree there. Strange New Worlds, same, not new, waste of time. Yep. Inkamoy. Yeah, some of these names I'm going to butcher. Sorry. Tuvix would have been interesting as a multi-episode concept with people accepting and not accepting him. But yes, we weren't given the time to accept him. If he was in for more than one episode, maybe a 3 or 4 episode arc, then we could have gotten used to him and we would have felt the brunt even more of what Janeway did. But I think, I think I could have done with being a couple of parters. But I would wonder how much they'd be able to fill that out. With people accepting and not accepting him, the event resolving in Tuvix were not being able to stay together and having to be separated. Yeah. Spock did Pring wrong on Strange New Worlds, and in my opinion, she was in her right to have Spock kill his bestie. Yeah. But understandable in the Voyager episodic format. Yeah. But they did have some stories that's led over to other things. Yes, the restaurant analogy is spot on. Change too much and you'll lose customers. Yeah, and that's what they've done. They've lost a lot of customers. The camera's going blurry again. Stupid camera. Pike with a ship of herpes. Jackie dozes. Everyone ignores the real Tuvix solution. Make a Riker-style transporter clone of him and then split the clone back into Tuvok and Neelix. Jackie dozes. I completely agree. I did mention that particular possible option back in the previous stream. You'd simply create a duplicate, which the transporter does anyway. Create a duplicate and then separate the two, and that bang, you've saved your crew member, and you've saved your crew members, and you've saved the new unique form of life that has arisen. Sorry if my camera freezes. Sorry, harpies. The winged bird people, not herpes. Well, to be fair, it depends how much Pike gets around and how many alien species that he copulates with, and how much of the crew. I suppose herpes would be a thing. But Mbenga would be there to treat it. If you have Tuvix, you'll have an extra mouth to feed. True. They took on like 5 Borg kids. Seven of Nine's an extra mouth to feed. She actually takes the most energy of anybody to feed because of the Borg alcoves, and then the kids in the Borg alcoves as well. You know, I wouldn't mind. Joseph Dredd, greetings Star Trek fans. Greetings to you too, Joseph. Thank you for joining the stream. We are talking about pretty much anything that's sci-fi related at this point, not just Star Trek. But yeah, it's going very well so far. So welcome to the stream. Strange New Worlds had all the ingredients for a great show, except for showrunners and writers with any talent whatsoever. That was John Cho. Yeah, completely agree. But if you have a mixed up copy of two other crew members with their memories, how would Tuvok and Neelix deal with that? Well, the answer would be, wouldn't it have been an interesting story to watch? And wouldn't it have been interesting to find out how they would have dealt with that? A real challenge for the writers, instead of them taking the easy way out and well, I say easy, but the simple way out of just reversing what happened. This is where Voyager kind of failed, because they didn't deal with the consequences. The long-term consequences should have been that Tuvix was now the only being able to exist, and it was permanent. But even if it wasn't, how, you know, if you made it so Tuvix survived and Tuvok and Neelix were separated, you'd have such an interesting dynamic between the three, would you not? Because he would understand both of them. But in New Trek, they'd become a trio. And they'd just go for... I'm not going to say it. They'd become a trio, if you know what I mean. Menage a trois. And Janeway would literally tell them to go themselves. Sorry, that was juvenile. One thing about Voyager is it really should have started out as a serialized show. For me, the ship and crew would have looked totally different when they got back home. Yeah, absolutely. Time would have changed them. The ship would be falling apart. It would be an Equinox situation, in my opinion. The Equinox would have been a more accurate look for the Voyager, because after every episode, in the beginning of the next episode, Voyager was pristine clean. Like, oh, I'll get the mop. You know, it was just ridiculous. I'm going to sneeze. I want to. Excuse me. You just know when they're coming. I like the two separate characters better than Tuvix. Yeah, you can. And I liked Tuvok. Neelix less, but I think it would have been an interesting way to deal with it if you had all three. Good tight. Thank you very much. Mbenga was a mass murderer, and then he murdered that Klingon ambassador. Yep. Can't really say fairer than that. That's what he did. That's what happened. Bless you, Inkamoy. Thank you. I still can't believe that stupid musical episode. Oh, I'm not sure I can believe it either. I can't believe how much people lapped that episode up. How much shit I got for it and all. They lapped it up. They were like, oh, it's fun, it's amazing, it's groundbreaking, it's new, it's wonderful. The music wasn't even that fucking good. The lyrics were shocking. The lyrics were shit. Nothing timed right. I mean, you can occasionally in a song branch your line into the next line of music. You can occasionally do that, but they were doing that every line. Nothing matched up. Nothing married up. The musical episode was such a farce. It wasn't even great music. It wasn't even memorable. I can't remember one single song. Even the song I quoted on my video, I can't remember it because it was just so shit. You look at Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the musical there, I could tell you, I could sing some of the songs now. I'll probably get copyright struck, but I could sing you some of the songs because they were memorable. They stuck with you, and they were very clever. You know, the funniest one to me was the mustard one. You know, where Buffy goes, so is this us, just us, or the entire? Oh, someone says, is this just us, or is the entire town affected? And Buffy goes out the door, and the guy is at the laundromat, and he's got his shirt, and the guy's like, they got the mustard out, and then there's this big musical happening outside, and she shuts the door and goes, no, it's everybody, which I thought was really clever. But you remember all of these songs. South Park, the movie South Park, I could sing every song in the fucking film. Because it was funny, and it's that and the Buffy episode, the two musical things I like. But South Park's satirical, so it's not a serious musical. But the South Park movie was brilliant, and all the songs were fantastic because they were memorable, well written, well structured, and funny. Strange New Worlds had none of that to me at all. It was ridiculous. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. I'm more amazed at the Paisley mix uniform for Tuvix. Very stylish, and yet it doesn't get enough attention. Yeah, I actually liked that because it was an interesting blend of both their uniform, both their attire. It was really good. That musical episode was terrible. Yeah, completely agree. The Conscience of the Doctor and Benga on war crime trial. Yeah. Absolutely. A TNG episode I like to rewatch, the ones with Data, Ensigns of Command, Data, Stay Thine Own Self. I think the episode where the Picard series was born, I think is one of the most fantastic episodes. Measure of a Man. I thought that was rare Star Trek, where the Next Generation really started to grow up a little bit. And it was the first time that I remember. It probably wasn't the first time it was there, but it was the first time I remember a fantastic Picard speech. And I'm talking Picard, not old man Picard. I'm talking about Picard. That was the first time I remember, personally, seeing Picard really be Picard. Superb episode, and what they did with it in Picard made me cry. It was horrible. But yeah, Data episodes are generally quite good. I thought Thine Own Self was a good one. Data's Day was a little cheesy, but it was all right. Yeah, it was good. I like the fact that he was communicating with Bruce Maddox throughout the whole episode. It was his log to Bruce Maddox. I thought that was really good. And that they did stay in touch after that episode. Buffy the Vampire Slayer was a memorable musical episode. It absolutely was. I still remember it to this day, and it was everyone's heart was in it because they all wanted to do this. The Strange New Worlds one, it seemed like half of them didn't want to do it. They were obligated to do so, but the Buffy one Buffy earned the musical episode. It earned the right and the license to the artistic license, for that. I have the CD of the Buffy musical. Well, I can march down those stairs right now and get my copy of the musical. I've got the South Park musical soundtrack and the Buffy musical soundtrack. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant. I spent $14.99 on that in HMV when it came out. I don't know why I spent so much on it. But what you did back in the day, didn't you? You went posh shopping. You went to HMV and spent the big bucks. Whatever happened to Dr. Philip Boyce in Strange New Worlds? I'll tell you what, I couldn't tell you because I cannot remember that character at all. I just don't. Who? Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog when lyrics propelled the story. Yeah. All I can remember is Spock crying, singing, I solved for why. Why in my calculation, that's how hard I cringed. Yeah. Matthew Ross, bless you, thank you. Oh yes, Measure of a Man is epic. When he's asked if people have a soul. Wow, brilliant. And you compare that episode, for just one line from that episode, to Tuvix, the episode Tuvix. Compare this for 1 second. The Federation's prime mission is to seek out new life. Well, there it sits, waiting to be discovered. Janeway kills new life. Janeway just outright kills Tuvix. Yeah, I want my friends back. You are new life. You are what we are seeking out here. Strange new worlds, new civilizations, new life, you know. But I'm going to kill you because I want to get my friends back. There's Picard. You know. Oh my god. Yeah, I didn't enjoy Janeway's decision there. But is Picard brilliant? Oh, younger Picard. People, you know, there's Picard when he was awesome. I think there's a little more to the Whedon story than that, but we don't know it. Yeah. Have I missed a few? Yes, I've missed a few. I beg your pardon. I've jumped ahead there. I wished Voyager had different coloured hull plating and different nacelles and the other pieces that would show the ship's desperate attempts to survive. Yes, much like Search for Spock when the Enterprise comes back in, it's got all those welded plates on. Wouldn't that have been visually better? That would have been so much better. Absolutely brilliant. Garrick episodes are great. Yeah, Garrick's a fantastic character. And you know what pisses me off? Again, with the modern crowd, is the the intimation that Garrick was gay for Bashir and Bashir was gay for Garrick. Do you not? They completely misunderstand the relationship that Garrick has with Dr. Bashir. Garrick toys with Dr. Bashir. He's fond of him, but he doesn't want to sleep with him. Bashir is a plaything for him, and not in a sexual way. He's a plaything. He's someone who Bashir is like a child to Garrick, in my opinion. But yeah, the new crowd has just got to go, oh, just making gay for Dr. Bashir. It's not what it was. Stop reading into things that aren't there and changing the narrative to fit your own stupid point of view. It's ridiculous. You may all disagree with me on that, but I do not think Garrick was gay for Bashir at all. Garrick wasn't gay, for starters. You know, fucking hell. Although, do you think that maybe his relationship with Zial was a little bit of a fuck you to Gold the Cat? Kind of like a he was playing it at some level. He was playing it as it was pissing the cut off, and he was happy with that. Buffy musical, Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. God, Joss Whedon is talented. It's a crime he's been cancelled for being a meanie on set. I think there was a little bit more to the Whedon story than we know, but we don't know it. Yeah, there could be. Whedon has suffered quite the downfall, hasn't he? He's a very talented guy. He's a very talented writer, director, producer, everything. But he has fallen from grace a little bit. And I think I think modern culture's had something to do with that. Just another watch nerd. For the convention fund, oh bless you, Garrick wants to see you. Does that mean he's gay for me? Thank you so much for that. $5 super chat from Just Another Watch Nerd for the convention fund. You really want me to go to that convention, don't you? Who else thinks I should go to a convention I can't afford? To be fair, if enough people want me to go, I'll go. I'll try and find a way to make it happen. Holiday time with my job is a bit of a nightmare to book, but yeah. Picard season 3 was nice. Why aren't they learning what people want from Star Trek from there? It's so damn hard to analyze episodes from Star Trek that they great and build from it. That's Stepan Sergio. I believe I may be completely destroying your name. Instead, we get shows like Robin Hood. I do apologize if I am butchering your name, by the way. It's Stepan Sergio. Something like that. Yeah, Picard season 3 was good. It wasn't, dare I say, it wasn't fantastic story-wise. There are a lot of gaping holes in it. But I can see what they were trying to do. And I did appreciate the nostalgia. But I didn't appreciate the format in which people were watching it. Because I think that may have slightly blurred their opinion on it, because they were getting this massive influx. It's just crazy. I liked it. I liked it. I did. But I didn't love it. I thought it was a very nice tribute in some ways to what Star Trek fans wanted, but it wasn't the complete package that people were making it out to be. Matthew Ross, blame Canada. With all the beady little eyes and flapping hats and full of lies, blame Canada. You see, I can just go off straight on into anything. It's like Team America. I could just... I love Team America. I miss you more than... I miss you more than... Michael Bay missed the mark when he made Pearl Harbor. I miss you more than that movie missed the point. And that's an awful lot, girl. Now, all I can think about is your smile. And that shitty movie, too. Pearl Harbor sucked. And I miss you. I could just... It's memorable. It's there. Because they're fantastic songs. I love them. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to subject you to my singing. I'm not as deep as I think I am either. Dr. Boyce is a doctor from the first TOS pilot. I do apologise. That is something I didn't know. I really didn't know that. I'm not clued up on TOS. I need to be more clued up on TOS. I've got to watch TOS. You guys have got to push me to watch TOS. I must do it. Because I haven't seen it since I was like 7 or 8. Zell, sorry, just got back from putting my son to bed with a £1.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Zell. And welcome back. And hope your son sleeps soundly. You've missed me singing, so just think yourself lucky. Right, where are we? I feel that New Trek lore is written on a cocktail napkin because they seem to throw away the lore after each episode, yeah? Or wipe their arse with it. Because you can't see through the shit. You can't see what you've written through your own shit. Because it's shit. Oh, sorry, Matthew, I missed a chat from you. The musical was like a school production or a low-budget summer show. Yes, it was. Trying to keep track of the chat here. Loud as a Whisper is what won me over to TNG Season 2. A dead actor, the guest star, wrote the story and sent it to the writers, and they just went with it. Great use of sci-fi to talk about disability. Yeah. There you have it. Isn't that moving? Yeah, Strange New Worlds is not original TOS canon. Will New Chapel meet and become engaged to Dr. Roger Corby? That's a name I'm familiar with. Oh, that's flat. Cherry Coke. I picked up a load of Cherry Coke because I quite like Cherry Coke. And it's the first time I've seen it full fat in shops. For a while, and I started it like 2 hours ago, and it's gone flat. I don't like flat drinks. Some fans did Kirk Spock for the longest time as well. Yeah, I don't think Gary is gay for Bashir. No, I don't think he was. I think it was Bashir was a plaything. A kid to easily impress with all of Garrick's stuff. With all Garrick's lies. Garrick taking the May-December romance to the extreme. Wasn't she like 15? Garrick's got to be like, at this point, to have gone through what he's gone through, he's got to be like 40s or 50s. And she's like 15. Oops. Cradle snatcher. Bashir was very smart, but Garrick was street smart. Yeah, loved the dynamic between them. Yes, it worked. Absolutely worked 100%. Bashir was intelligent and classically smart. He was genetically engineered to be so, but you can't teach that. You can't teach street smarts. Setlit 3, welcome to the stream. How are you doing, my friend? It's good to have you here. We're just having a chat about just anything. I could talk for hours. Probably will be talking for hours because we've been going for nearly 2 hours, and we'll be going for at least one more. I would have thought. Loving it. Garrick and Bashir weren't written gay, but the actors wanted to insert that subtext. Well, if that's the case, I'm glad they didn't, because it just, if sometimes a friend is just a friend, you know what I mean? It's just friendship. Fingers crossed you get enough super chats to go to the convention, but no pressure at all. We appreciate you regardless. Bless you. I will try. I will see what can be done. I would have to, there would have to be, there'd have to be a bit of influx somewhere financially. I'm not sure I could do it at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see. It's not until next year, so we will see what goes on. John Chow, deaf actor, is damn autocorrect. Deaf actor, not dead actor. I love autocorrect. Sometimes it changes the context of an entire sentence, and I'm like, oh, I died. It's like, no, he's just deaf. It's like, dead, deaf. Oh God. It can be so embarrassing, can't it? Never mind. It happens. Picard Season 3 was fine for me. I still like All Good Things as a TNG send-off. Picard Season 3 did not need to happen. It didn't need to. It did nothing to add to the story, and we still got a better send-off in All Good Things. I'm going to have to rewatch Team America again. Same here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get the projector screen up. I'm going to invite a friend over and we'll go up, sit and watch Team America. Well, please. What a great film. And an absolutely superb film. So funny. Beg your pardon. There we go. Strange New Worlds made me miss the Enterprise series. Yeah, we've talked about Enterprise quite a lot on this channel. I really do like Enterprise. It was a good show. It was a good show. It had a bit of a rough start, but it was a really good show. Watch TOS. Watch TOS. All right, I will watch TOS. I will go through it from beginning to end again. I will do that. You got my word. Before Discovery comes back, I will rewatch TOS from start to finish. Flat Coke. Accidentally Derivative Studios on YouTube is doing a watch-through series on TOS in production order. Highly recommend it if you want to jump back in. I may very well do that. I always view the Garrick-Bashir relationship was more like Garrick recognised something in Bashir that he had lost in himself and was mentoring Bashir. I think there was an element of mentorship with Garrick and Bashir. Finish Prodigy first, yeah. Get priorities straight, Danger Man. Finish Prodigy first. But yeah, Garrick. Yeah, there was that element to Bashir and Garrick's relationship. It was a mentorship, but I think he was a plaything for Garrick, someone to impress. But I also get the feeling that Garrick would have been pretty aware that Bashir was genetically engineered, and Bashir wouldn't have been that good at hiding it. I think there was definitely a bit of an insert there where it wasn't necessarily needed, but that's just my opinion. Septic 3, because of the strike, ST Las Vegas was a Star Trek convention with no mention of anything produced in Hollywood ever. It was the strangest Star Trek convention in my 49 years of attending. Wow, that must have been strange. Yeah, because they wouldn't be able to reference it or mention anything. How strange would that be? Oh my god, I can't imagine that. TOS is a tough watch for me as well. It's that 1960s pacing. Have to be in the right mood for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you do have to be in the right mood for it. The actors were very honest and human. A lot of them are. A lot of them are. And I always say with actors is, yeah, I agree with Gary Buechler, who is another YouTuber I follow. I agree with him that they are, banging the mic, they are adult pretenders. They are there to entertain. They are not politicians. They are not people of influence in that way. They are there to pretend. They are very good at it, and they have a lot of love come their way because of what they do and who they are. But that's it. That's all they are. You know, it's like. So why do I care what the opinion is of Patrick Stewart and his political views? They're his views. That's what they are. They're his views. Fine. Has no bearing on his performance as Picard until he brings his political views into the character of Picard. No, he's pretending to be someone else. That's all he is. Yeah, he's very good at it, and he should be. You know, that's fine. That's fine. But I don't really care about the opinions of actors. You know, it's like the Endgame interview with Brie Larson, and she's saying, "I think I have a responsibility because I have a platform to reach as many people as possible." And Jeremy Renner's just so down to earth, and he just says, "I don't think I have a responsibility. I think I'm here to entertain children and adults alike. I'm here to entertain. I am an entertainer. I go, I make a movie, it's entertaining, people watch it, and people pay me for it. That's what I do." And it's so true. It's so true. I mean, you know, say I was a big YouTuber, yeah, with loads and loads of subscribers. I'm not, and I don't think I'll ever be, but for the sake of argument, let's say I am. I'm a huge YouTuber. I'm the Mr. Beast of Star Trek reviews. Yeah? Let's say for a minute I am. Should you care what my opinion is about the world, the political state of the world? No. Why? Because I'm a YouTuber. I'm here to entertain you. My content is hopefully entertaining in some way. I'm here to give you my opinion. Do you have to care what my opinion is, or do you have to listen to what my opinion is? No. If I start making a little shows, little Star Trek tribute shows and stuff like that, would you care what my opinion is? No. Because I'm here to entertain. End of. Oh, I have a responsibility because I have such a huge platform and people talk. You know, I can reach so many people. Yeah, don't be a dick. First and foremost, bottom line, don't be a dick. But I don't have a responsibility to anybody but myself. And if I'm giving an opinion and people take my opinion and do something based on my opinion, it's the old argument, isn't it? It's the heavy metal argument. Does heavy metal and violent video games change people? No. No, it doesn't. Because that's already there. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too deeply into it, but these actors are here to act. But they're not important. I'm not important. Nobody's more important than somebody else. Patrick Stewart isn't important to the world. He's nice to have around, and he's given us some great characters over history, and his acting is superb. Ian McKellen is a superb actor. And a lot of these actors do some great stuff for charity, and I'm not mocking them, and I'm not, denigrating them for that. But a lot of actors are idiots who think they're more important than they are. They're not more important than me. They're not more important than you. They have their opinions and they're entitled to them. And what they're not entitled to do is lecture you about yours. You can have a debate, not a lecture, and a lot of them are just lecturing. And they think they're so much more important than they are. Excuse me, everybody knows who I am. Nobody knows who you are. Well, fine. But just because people know you doesn't make you any more important than anybody else. There's a little bit of a rant. I'll get back to reading some comments, shall I? I found Destination Trek UK in Birmingham to be very weird because of it. I like the characters, not the actors in general. Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of most of what Arnold Schwarzenegger has done. Arnold Schwarzenegger, there are parts of Arnold Schwarzenegger that, and parts of his life and parts of his opinions that I do not share and I do not like. But in the world of entertainment, he's bloody brilliant. I grew up watching his films. I mean, the 80s action films with him in were superb. 90s as well, brilliant. You don't have to like the actor to like the work. You don't have to like the artist to like the work. TOS has some awesome episodes. I have no doubt of that. I'm going to rewatch TOS. The fans are smart and ask questions in such a creative way. We all knew what was being said. Yeah, sometimes there's conversations that are happening without actually orating words. You know, it's like a conversation that's underneath what's happening or verbally. It's the unwritten, it's the unspoken conversation. I've had that with so many people. People who are reading between the lines and people who are speaking between the lines. It's very, very interesting. You do have to watch TOS sometimes with your heart and your mind rather than your eyes. Visually speaking, visual effects don't really bother me too much. It can be immersively breaking at certain points, but it can be really charming in other ways. Red Dwarf, the visual effects don't really bother me because it's the content that you're watching. I love Red Dwarf. So I can get past that. That's not even a problem. I can rewatch classic Doctor Who endlessly. Yeah, same here. I'm not a huge fan of Doctor Who, but I did watch it growing up. And really concentrate on the message of the episode because the pacing and visuals can be distracting. Yeah. Absolutely. I care about your opinion on the wing speed of an unladen swallow. What do you mean? African or European swallow? Oh, I love that. The actors are separated actors are separated in a normal convention. It was like a nighttime talk show format with all the guests sitting down and talking real human feelings without the Hollywood glitter. That must be very down to earth. I did really miss Klingon karaoke this year. One of the things I loved about the old Star Trek was the ships and technology. In the new Trek, all looks so bad. Ships, weapons, even the damn bridges look like crap. Yep. And little talk from me about aesthetics. We all remember what the Defiant bridge looks like. We all remember what the Enterprise D bridge looks like. We all remember what the Voyager bridge looks like. We all remember what Ops looks like. We all remember what the Enterprise NX-01 bridge looks like. We all remember what engineering looks like on every single one of those ships. We all remember what the turbo lifts look like. We all remember what the aesthetics were with Starfleet ships. They were bright. They were well lit, optimistic. When they went into Red Alert, things went a little bit darker, but traditionally speaking, not too much changed. On the Enterprise D, we had a red strip on the wall that indicated Red Alert, but the lighting level stayed how it should, and I think that's how Red Alert should be. Simply because if you're going into a panic situation where you're going into a heightened state of defense or offense, typically known as Red Alert, you need to be seeing where you're fucking going. Because if you don't see where you're going to have an accident in the middle of a crisis. So why dim the lights? Why turn those lights down, my flower? Keep everywhere well lit. I mean, this is a well lit room only because of that light and that light. Everything else is dark. If I turn them red, I'm not going to be able to see where I'm going, am I? I'm going to have an accident. Don't know why I turned into that accent. But that's the only problem I had with Red Alert. On the later ships, it was just like, dim the lights. We're in Red Alert. Everybody's faces must be red. You know, I can go Red Alert right now. That's Red Alert. I'm currently in a state of Red Alert. If I try to go down the stairs, I'm going to break my neck. I'm not going to try it live on stream, no matter how many people want me to. But my point is, that's Red Alert. How am I supposed to see anything? But that's the state of Star Trek right now. That's standard lighting on all Star Trek ships. Aesthetically displeasing sets. It's like the Borg. The original Borg sets, and certainly the ones in Voyager and ones in Voyager and First Contact and all of that. The Borg aesthetics they were so creepy, weren't they? It was dark, it was foreboding, it was tense, it was things were sharp, everything had edges, and you're like, shit, this is a dangerous place, and it feels like a dangerous place. But now all the Starfleet ships feel like a dangerous place. I mean, it's just... It's nice to be able to see what's going on. Why does everything have to have LED strip lighting? It doesn't. And it's all to look cool. But the Orville manages the original style of Star Trek, the classic style of Star Trek, well-lit sets. Where you can see what's going on. Everything's bright and optimistic. And it does that well. So what's the problem? Completely agree. After all that. I grew up on TOS. First season is the best. Third is the weakest. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. There is a bold man that may captain a ship. He may have a therapist that has disappeared and looks very different. She may have pointy ears, etc. The effects. The TOS on streaming here in the US has the updated CGI effects. I hate them. Try to watch on physical media so you can see the original show in all its glory. I have all 3 seasons of the original series on DVD. The remastered versions. I do. So I can do that. I just haven't watched them. Can you name that episode? Is that really in relation to your previous comment? There is a bold man that may captain a ship. He may have a therapist that has disappeared and looks very different. She may have pointy ears. Face of the Enemy. Face of the Enemy. Oh, this is like a fun quiz. Keep going. I think it's called Face of the Enemy. I like that one. Absolutely brilliant. Didn't like the 2009 Star Trek Enterprise engineering that looked like an old factory full of pipes. No, and yet, that engineering is actually a what's it called? Isn't it like it's a real place, a real machine, a science machine. What is it? It's a it's not a particle accelerator, is it? It's not one of those. It's I can't remember what it does, but it actually that set is a real machine. Setlick 3. Bingo! Brilliant, I got that right. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like it as a set, but it's actually a real lab. It's a real machine. I can't remember what it does, but it features in some documentaries, science documentaries. So, are you sure? Hold on. Checking no one's coming up the stairs. Are you sure that's necessary, sir? I may have to change the light bulb. Suggest we move from Suggest we move from blue alert to red alert. Are you absolutely certain, sir? It would mean changing the bulb. Fucking brilliant. I guess we can blame the Wrath of Khan for that. For what? I missed something there. One of my best investments was to donate to the Star Trek Continuous production. Truly a beautiful work with Star Trek. Yeah, absolutely. I've seriously got to see that. New Borg ships have ice slides. Oh, fuck off, will you? I forgot about that. Oh, my life was so much nicer before I remembered the fucking ice slides on the fucking Borg cube and the fucking Narek. I remembered his name as well. You brought it all rushing back to me. Thanks a bunch for that. I love you, really. But fucking hell. Whee! Ice slide. Fucking horrible. Brewery. Oh, no. Beg your pardon. It wasn't 2009 Star Trek. It was a Star Trek after. It was Into Darkness, where the engineering was an actual lab. The engineering in the original one was actually, yeah, it was a brewery because you had the brewery tanks and everything. I do beg your pardon. But yeah, it was not 2009. It was Into Darkness. Yeah, I was wrong there. Getting my shitty Star Trek films mixed up. But yeah, that the one in Into Darkness was actually a machine. I can't remember what it did, but it was a machine. The one in 2009 was a brewery. I can't even say it. But yes, thank you for that. Yeah, nothing to do with science. Yeah, the brewery. Well, unless well, to be fair, brewing beer, that's kind of scientific. You have to be a bit of a chemist to do that. Understand the basics of chemistry. That is a small taste of what a convention was like. I actually loved it. I would attend Star Trek Las Vegas during the strike in 3 years. Oh, I attended every year. Nice. Yeah, it's good fun. It must be good fun. Into derpness. Yeah, derp. Into derpness like that. Ah, yes, the Wrath of Khan lowered the lighting for red alert. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. I mean, to be fair, I've got no issue in general with it. It's just not very practical, is it? Let's go to red alert. Ship goes dark. Right. I need to get to my station. Where am I going? It doesn't make much sense. If anything, you'd want red alert to be clear that it's red alert, but you'd have a great big noise. Personally, I must admit, I did enjoy in Enterprise the read alert. That was hilarious. I think you have to watch the new TOS versions because they have been restored. Some of the CGI is not terrible. Well, yeah, I suppose it could be. I'll just watch whatever's easiest to watch. All Jar Jar Trek is not Star Trek. Klutzman Drek trivia is a non sequitur. I'll tell you something. I was lucky to. Although I got it mixed up, I was lucky to remember. Nuclear fusion reactor. Well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a nuclear. Clarifying, I guess we have the Gone to blame for the red lighting, but maybe it was the motion picture. Even Kirk hated it and switched back to standard lighting. Yeah, that's a fair point. The idea is that on naval ships, red lights don't dilate your pupils, so you can see better in dark areas of the ship, when exterior lights had to be off. Not a problem with sensors and whatnot. Yeah, that's a fair point. And now we have Black Alert. I forgot about Black Alert as well. Wow, you guys are really reminding me of stuff I wanted to forget. Black Alert. Now entering Black Alert. I liked Major Barrett's computer voice, but my God, the one on Discovery is just like, everybody now entering black alert. We're going to black alert. I was like, no, thank you. Black alert. Ooh. Personally, I love TOS and TNG remasters, but I can't understand why some people liked the original. Well, it's kind of like the Star Wars, isn't it? It's like Star Wars, the original trilogy. You've got the original theatrical release, which I still have on VHS somewhere. Then you have Lucas's 1997 to 1999, whatever, digital remastered trilogy, which added a bunch of CGI, which some people loved and some people hated. It was kind of like, I'm just going to validate the prequels. But then you have the guy who has restored the originals to original theatrical release, and he charges a lot of money for them, but they apparently are worth having, just to watch the original in the original format. So yeah, there's arguments on both sides for it. I prefer. It's like RoboCop. I've got the Criterion edition of RoboCop, and the reason I have the Criterion edition of RoboCop and no other version of RoboCop is because I prefer it in its original format. Unclean, gritty, grainy, and in its original aspect ratio, and obviously unedited. Criterion edition of RoboCop is something special. I never get rid of that. It cost me 70 quid when I bought it. It's now worth about £5, but I don't really care. But yeah, if you watch the Blu-ray version of RoboCop looks plastic, and it looks terrible. And it's just not suited for modern media. Just have the original the way it's meant to be. Are you thinking of a particle accelerator for an actual set? I didn't think a place like that would allow filming. No, it was a fusion. Who said it was a fusion? Terminal 2K. Yeah, it is a fusion reactor. It is actually a real place, a real lab, and yeah, they filmed it there. It's identical. If you look at it, look it up. I forget. I don't know where it is. Maybe someone can help with that. Jar Jar Abrams, Misa gonna F your franchise. Misa gonna F your franchise. Yeah. Stepan Sergio, are you excited about Star Trek Section 31 or Star Trek Starfleet Academy? No. No, I'm not excited for them at all. One, because Section 31's supposed to have been happening for the last 5 years. 4 years, whatever. And it's not. It's either going ahead or it's not. But I have absolutely no interest in Giorgio at all. Michelle Yeoh, that's a different story. But Giorgio, no. Certainly not Mirror Universe Giorgio. I never really give a shit about her. It's just a poor character, and no. And Starfleet Academy is going to probably shit all over the Federation as a concept. And we're going to get told by the new generation as to why the Federation sucks. Probably. So no, I'm not looking forward to it. The redone CGI effects for TOS are dated now. They didn't have enough time to give them the polish they needed, and the art direction was horrible. No secondary light sources. Yeah, a lot of the time things are rushed out nowadays. Jeffrey Wilson, howdy, long time no see. Well, howdy to you too, sir. How are you doing? It's good to have you here. Trek fans are better off than Star Wars fans. At least there is some option for us to watch the originals. You cannot buy or stream the real Star Wars. Sad. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's all been supplanted. No one wants to see those. Yeah, no one wants to see those shows. I don't think anyone wants to see those shows. If you do, then that's absolutely fine. Set next 3. To be at the Star Trek convention and have Gene bring an uncut episode of Star Trek with all the original effects is indelibly stamped into my memory. Those original takes have their place. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Terminal 2K, National Ignition Facility in California. There you go. Either way, they used a real place. Hail, the continuing voyages of Captain Worf. Zimmerman Trek design was the best. Yep, absolutely. There was something to be said for seeing all of those ships. The beautiful ships, the beautiful sets. The luxury that they had. And that's one thing I saw about that with that Wolf 359 YouTube video, is that there was a lot of care and attention that went into it. I'm going to take something off my wall, which I may struggle to get back up, but I want you to see this. This is something my wife brought me. This is Deep Space Nine, and it's one of the original plan drawings, and it is absolutely, isn't that not one of the prettiest things you've ever seen? Deep Space Nine was an ugly station, and somehow that picture brings me an immense amount of joy. Immense amount of joy. Now I've got to try and get the picture back up. Oh, you bastard. It's not going to go up. I may have to wait till after the stream has ended in order to get that back up. No, it's not going to go back up. I'll figure that out. But isn't that a wonderful picture? Wonderful picture. That's just my picture that I drew from Family Guy. Not interested in Starfleet Academy because it will be a high school drama with a Starfleet backdrop. If we recognise it as a Starfleet backdrop. To be fair, the JJ movies had a good cast, but terrible writing and terrible aesthetics. The Enterprise looked ugly as hell, and it set the precedent for the modern shit we're suffering through now. Yeah. Flamethrowers in the wall. Explosives behind every console. Now, Star Trek always had explosives behind every console, but not repeated explosives and flamethrowers. You know. Imagine just walking onto the bridge, turning right from the turbo lift in the middle of a battle. You rush into your station, and then you get a flamethrower in the bloody face. Why? Feel like you're in an old 2D Sonic level, you know. It's kind of like Galaxy Quest with the crushers. That was funny. Academy or Section 31 might be okay if made during the Berman era. Yes, but I absolutely don't trust Kurtzman Trek. No, I don't think anyone should trust Kurtzman Trek. It's just terrible. That's great. Thank you very much. Can you rank from best to worst the Star Trek series and why? Are you trying to start a war? Classic Cardassian design. Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Absolutely brilliant. My wife bought me that for my birthday or Christmas. It was so very well received. I loved it. Best to worst, the Star Trek series. Right, I'm going to leave TOS out of this one because I cannot give you an honest opinion on it because I haven't seen it since I was a very young man. So I'll leave that to one side because I think that's fair. If I'm going to rank the 4 Star Trek series from best to worst. Now, this has changed over the years, okay? This has changed over the years because I've matured and things I've come up with, you know, I've thought about different things and things have changed, okay? But really, it would have to go DS9, Next Generation, Enterprise, Voyager. That's it. It used to be Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, Voyager. And Voyager, it's my least favourite, but I still love it. I still love some of it. But Enterprise, I think, was very, very good. It didn't have a strong start, but no Star Trek series has really had a strong start. Unfortunately, the newer series didn't have a strong finish either. But Deep Space Nine overtook because I think it dealt with more sort of mature concepts. And it dealt with a war very, very well. And I did enjoy Deep Space Nine just that little bit more. But they're very close. Next Generation and Deep Space Nine to me. Very close. Wow. 2009 is the set is a beer distillery for Anheuser-Busch. Anheuser-Busch? Never heard of that beer before. Ever. Is it a beer? I've never heard of that beer. But it's just composed for some reason out of small black rocks. Yeah. And that's Van Zandt. Engineering is a brewery in 2009. Yes. I have pitched on and off to Paramount for 30 years for a Captain Worf show. Don't call us, we'll call you. Yeah. Captain Worf. Today is a good day to die. Oh, God, here we go again. We're going to die. The time to do an Academy show was when Nog was at the Academy. Absolutely. And you can't do that now. Bless him. Poor Aaron Eisenberg. I miss him. It's brilliant. Like the comics they did back in the day. Yeah. The rumour has it that they are seriously considering doing Assignment Earth. Please tell me it's just a rumour. Well, you would hope it was a rumour. DS9, TOS, TNG, Enterprise, Voyager. Well, yeah. That's because for me it's TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. That's interesting. Yeah, that's nice. DS9 is an awesome Star Trek production, and it was the one that they took the biggest risk on, I think, because they didn't set it on the spaceship. They set it on the space station, and they thought that that was going to be a big problem for the fans. It turned out it wasn't. How are we getting on there? Yeah, this we've got almost 20 people watching. That's phenomenal. 20 people are interested in what I have to say. Wow, fantastic. That's jolly good stuff. DS9 pushed the boundaries of what Star Trek could be without breaking it. It was mainly helped by its setting. Yeah, I agree with that. Good point, Zell. For me, DS9 is my favourite. Then it's a tie for the other four. Yeah, I mean, they're all fairly close together for me. Again, I left TOS out because I can't really judge it because, you know, it's been a while since I've seen it. But yeah, I agree. DS9 had the greatest number of great actors. Yeah, I can get on board with that. More like Black and Blue Alert. Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, it's nuts, isn't it? Star Trek's a funny creature, really. And, you know, Clayton, who I will talk about, Clayton Rumley, okay, just for a quick second. He's going through a bit of a rough patch, Clayton. I won't say what's happening. He's really struggling at the moment. He's having to do a lot of stuff, and he's been forced to neglect his next book a little bit, and so on and so forth. So I want you to send Clayton some love and can visit his channel. He's absolutely brilliant. It's at Clayton Rumley on YouTube. Go visit his channel and please subscribe to him. He's, like I say, he's going through a tough patch, but he had, you know, we've done live streams before, and he's a good friend of the channel and a good friend. And he's just said that New Trek is sort of vapid of any sort of real Star Trek ideas. They don't have any great ideas. And he's got a point. There's no Star Trek in New Trek. There's no classical Star Trek ideas. And he's an author, and he writes his own stories, and he's a fantastic artist in my opinion. And The Drinker's an author and an artist. And these guys are saying that this is just bad writing. That they have no substance. And for Star Trek to have no substance is shocking. And if you'd have told, you know, if you travel back in time, I told a 20-year-old me that Star Trek would have, you know, would be, but you know, I've missed my point. I've lost where I was. What was I saying? You know, not only do you have You know what? It doesn't matter. Either way, the new Trek just does not have enough quality, so enough substance. Star Trek always had substance. Looks like we're getting some favourite episodes here. I love DS9 and Babylon 5. The space station idea was perfect. Yeah, well, let's not get into intellectual property theft here, because there was some uproar about that, wasn't there? I love DS9. Amazing cast and great writing. In a way, I am happy that Avery Brooks is no longer acting. They can't bastardize the character like they did with Picard. They're trying. They are trying. You want Avery Brooks to just stay out of the limelight. There's no Han and Greedo BS in the TOS upscale. Yeah, nothing. They didn't change. They just overlaid a little bit, didn't they? DS9 has my two favourite episodes of all the Star Trek series. Duet and In the Pale Moonlight. Completely agree with those. Yeah, those are two of my favourites as well. Duet, because Harris Yulin wasn't he just amazing in that? He was incredible in that. I'm sorry, it's just incredible. What an actor. What a fantastic actor. Brilliant. His performance was spot on. And Nana Visitor as well. Perfect. A great story, well written, well performed, great episode. And In the Pale Moonlight, a superb story. Avery Brooks just knocked it out of the park. And we got one of the famous memes as well, which is, it's a fake, which was brilliant. It's turned into it's a cake, it's a lake, and all of that. That was really good. But anyway, jokes aside, In the Pale Moonlight was a fantastic episode. Not only do you have a few viewers, you have one from the future. It's 5:30 a.m. tomorrow here. Oh my God, you absolute legend. Let's hear it for Terminal 2K for being up that early. Wow. Oh my God, thank you so much for watching. I can't believe you're watching me prattle on at that time in the morning. Thank you very much, sir. Wow. Even though DS9 is third on my list after TOS and TNG, it does have my favourite episode of Trek of all in Duet. Yeah, of course. TNG was a McCoy dream, DS9 was an O'Brien dream, Voyager was a Kim dream, and Enterprise was Riker's dream. Oh, that's a horrible thought. But yeah, I suppose. Major Gwyn pointed out a possible Easter egg in Strange New World. Sisko's dad is one of the patients in the finale of season 2. Potentially. Someone stopped them before they ruined Deep Space Nine. My God, how would that even work? One, obviously, Brock. Something Brock. Can't remember the actor's name. He died. And my God, please don't do that. Please don't do that. A friend of mine used ChatGPT and asked for a Star Trek episode that was better than any new Trek. Please tell me the outcome of that. That'd be hilarious. I'm pretty sure that Avery Brooks is very much retired. He has a lot of issues with Hollywood, fortunately. Thank God for that. The monologue at the end of the Sisko as a writer of the episode is great, and the old Jake episode is great too. That was The Visitor. Yeah, that was my third favourite Deep Space Nine episode. Was The Visitor. Oh, Tony Todd stepping in as old Jake Sisko, and he just blew it out of the park. It's one of those episodes that does bring me to tears. Brock Peters, thank you very much. It is Brock Peters who played Sisko's dad. He also played the Admiral in Star Trek 3 and The Undiscovered Country. Setlick 3 Gaming, $10 super chat. Live long and prosper. Thank you very much, my friend. That was very, very good of you. Wow. Thank you. My God. People are donating to me. This is really moving. I don't usually have to. Thank you so much. Aw, making me all gooey. Aw, thanks. Thank you very much. That's genuinely from the bottom of my heart. That's very, very nice of you. Yeah, the old Jake episode was really good. Yeah. Shuttlepod 1 is one of my favourite episodes of Enterprise. What great acting and great character study. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I thought it was a. it just made me laugh. Suppose he got a nice bum. You know, so I think she's got a lovely bum. That was brilliant. Suppose bum. I just thought that was brilliant. That's so funny. I think she's got a nice bum. Very nice bum. And he's not wrong. She does have a very nice bum. It was a new younger actor. They'll just do that with everyone, and it'll suck. Yeah, just recast everyone. Zell, 199 super chat. We donate because you deserve it. Oh, I'm not sure that's true, but thank you very much. Thank you. You guys, seriously. Oh my god, my pleasure. Oh, yeah. The honour is mine to have you guys on talking to me. Really, I'm the one who should be thanking you every day, because you guys keep me doing this. It really is brilliant. ST6 Shuttlepod 1 is a great episode with great acting. Thanks for the update on Clayton. I was wondering why he hadn't updated much in a while. Hope to see you two stream together again, perhaps when Quantum Leap comes back. Yes, I do want to stream with Clayton. And again, please, everybody just go to his channel and hit the subscribe button. It would really cheer him up. And also, whilst I'm here... Ironically, I left, as I said, whilst I'm here. But whilst I'm here, please get his Holocene, his book. It's on Amazon. It's a fantastic read. I cannot plug this enough. I'm good. I'm doing a shameless plug because Clayton is a really good friend. Okay, we met through YouTube, through me doing this, and he has his own book, and he's struggling at the moment. So please support him. This is a superb book. It was I could not put it down, and I don't read that much. I've got a few Star Trek books I've read. I've got like 30 more that I've not read, and I don't find the time to read much. But for it is a fantastic book, and I do know someone in the chat is also a musician, and yeah, I will be plugging you in the future. Trust me, I will. But please, for this stream, please support Clayton. This is a superb book. I cannot sell it enough. It's brilliant. So please support Clayton with that. Anyway, plug over. Back to the chat. Peak Enterprise was when Archer got possessed by Vulcan Jesus. Season 4 was so good. Season 4 was the best season by far. It filled in so many gaps and it did so well, and it's how you do it. It proved it could be done. They should do a Star Trek Enterprise revival with Terry Metalis. Almost sure I don't agree with that. Because, I mean, if it was just Terry Metalis on his own and there was no new Trek bollocks attached to it, it might work. But a lot of the actors probably wouldn't want to come back. I know that Dominic Keating was never really set on the idea. He didn't really seem very up for it at all. Scott Bakula's gone on to do other things, and it would be really difficult to get the cast back. You know, there's a show that my missus likes, and she's tried to get me into it. I think it's a quirky show, but it's probably not my cup of tea, and it's Gilmore Girls. And they did a revival of the Gilmore Girls, and it was so difficult to get the actors back to do the revival. They couldn't get everybody. Obviously, some people had died, and it was so difficult to get back. But, you know, it was... it did happen in the end, but it was so difficult, and I don't think Enterprise would. It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same. I would love to have seen Enterprise season 5. I really would. I keep wondering where to look. I'm looking at myself, looking at the screen, looking at myself. It's like UK Danger Inception. It's weird. But no, I'd like for it to work, but I don't think it would. Terra Prime with Peter Weller is an awesome episode, and I think you're right, and I think it should have been the end of Enterprise. That episode, just finish it there. These are the Voyagers was just, these are the insults. It was horrible. I wanted to ask you about your friend's outro song. Did he release it yet? No, he hasn't. He's not sure really what to do with it. He wants to re-record it, and I think he wants to release it. But he himself, he's not at the minute inclined to do that, and he's asked that I don't play the whole song. But the whole song is fantastic. It's a superb song. It's a great piece of music. You only hear the same repetitive piece over and over again. I imagine it would be like hearing the Friends intro and then hearing it on the whole song on the radio, and you think, well, that's not right. there's more to that song. That doesn't sound right. But he's I don't think he's going to release it just yet. He might do. It's up to him and the other members in his band. But yeah, he was very good. Very, very, very good of him to let me use that for an outro. He was superb. Your channel is a nice break from the New Trek cheerleaders on YouTube. Great stream. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really do, because I do wonder if me sitting here prattling on about how much I love classic Star Trek would just start to grate with some people. But it's so nice to know that you guys are watching and you guys are supporting what I do. I don't like to cheerlead anything that I don't like. It's that simple. If I like something, I'm going to let you guys know. If I dislike something, which I more often than not do with New Trek, I just want to be honest with you guys and give you my opinion. I'll be honest with you, if someone said to me, look, Rich, because that is my name, Rich, if someone says, Danger Man, Reach, whatever, here's £500, go and get yourself a VR2, but do talk about New Trek in nice ways, I'll be like, no, fuck you. This is my channel. This is what I think about New Trek. You're not going to buy me. It's just not going to happen. If they offered me £1,000, £2,000, £10,000, I wouldn't do it, because then it would be just disingenuous. I'd much rather just be honest. You know, I don't sell out. Now, if someone offered me £1 million, what I'd do is I'd create another channel. And I'd talk really well about Star Trek, and then I'd diss myself. I'd be like, I'd create a character who really likes Star Trek, and then be sarcastic about it. I'd get me £1 million, and then I would, I'd toe the line, and then I'd create a counter character just to shit all over myself. That'll be the way around that. Maybe I might still get done for fraud. I probably would. No, my luck, I would. Zell, I've just ordered his book, and I hope you enjoy the album. I've listened to half of it, mate. I'm going to listen to the rest of it. I promise you, you'll get a plug. It's so far what I've liked, I've heard. And like you say, supporting upcoming artists and everything, struggling artists, is so important. So I appreciate all your support. I really do. All of you. It's been fantastic. Jolene Blalock is, for one, married to a billionaire and doesn't even do Star Trek conventions anymore. Bakula, as Dangerman says, is very busy with his career. Yeah, he's NCIS New Orleans, I believe. That's still going after all this while. NCIS just spawned off of some of the most successful spin-offs, and they do these progressive shows that have these episodic episodes that have a somewhat branching story arcs. as well. They do very well, don't they? Law and Order does very well. That's got Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, Criminal Intent. All these different shows spawn off, and Scott Bakula's doing great with that. So I don't think he'd come back. He might come back for a reunion, kind of in the way that Friends did, I suppose, but they won't come back. TNG, TOS, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, Prodigy, and the rest can burn. Yeah, I'd burn the rest as well. The more new Trek I see, the sadder I am at the passing of Berman Trek. Yeah, it just compounds the problem, doesn't it? Paramount refused our donated money, over $1 million, to continue Enterprise one more season. They refused it. Yes, and I did donate to the Save Enterprise campaign. I did donate, and they refused over $1 million. I think it got to $3 million by the end of it. And you had people in the private space forum, if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, that donated it as well. They refused it. Unbelievable. I know what you mean about hearing the full version of an intro song. I think it was the full Dollhouse intro song that sounded so weird. Yeah, absolutely. I got the same with House MD. You hear the full song, and it's like, the intro song to House is about that much of a much bigger song. It's weird. I understand, but I'd love to see them try. I can always dream. Yeah. Celtic 3. You are honest and genuine. I feel free. I feel free to disagree when I do. Yeah, you disagree with me all you like, mate. At the end of the day, one thing that I think is a crying shame when people disagree when they personally attack. And so far, on the people in this chat have been absolutely wonderful. And if you disagree, you disagree. Yeah, I'm giving my opinion. If you disagree, I'll always respect your opinion. As long as you respect me and I respect you, we can have a dialogue and a conversation. You call yourself Celtic 3 Gaming because I assume you're a gamer. Well, I have children and I play Fortnite. Not a lot of people play Fortnite because they don't like Fortnite, because that's what Fortnite is. I hated Fortnite. And then I play it with my children because they enjoy Fortnite, and I've gotten into playing Fortnite. But I also play Call of Duty, and I play Resident Evil, and I play Star Trek Resurgence, and I play all these other wonderful games. But at the end of the day, we are... Yeah, I concur. Thank you. But yeah, a lot of people don't like a lot of the stuff that I like, and some people do like. We all have all these different interests and everything. But I can say that Resident Evil has a narrative problem. It's always had a narrative problem. It's in some ways, Resident Evil is ridiculous. It breaks its own canon, its own continuity, but I still like the thing. It's not perfect, but I still like it. When someone comes in from the outside and says, "Oh, I like Resident Evil, and my name's Paul W.S. Anderson, and I'm a fan of Resident Evil, and I'm going to write my own Resident Evil movies," in which he just fucking starred his fucking wife, and that's completely ruined Resident Evil. Doesn't mean he's doesn't mean he's knows what he's talking about. Fucking Resident Evil. Jesus Christ, I can't think of a franchise that has been worse handled in terms of game franchise that's been translated to screen so fucking poorly. And the Welcome to Raccoon City. I'm sorry, what the fuck was that? Oh my god! That was horrendous, and that was supposed to be a love letter to the fans again. It's like, go fuck yourself, sir. No way! The Resident Evil animated films are all the fucking same. Yes, they're very close and very good, but yeah, they're just... Oh my god. Right. Sorry, but there's a rant there. Went off on a rant. I do like Resident Evil. Where are we? You're honest and genuine. Yeah, Dangerman, you have an authenticity. Never lose that. I'm sure there are those gushing over new Trek that are also authentic, but they're wrong. Yeah, fair enough. That's fair enough. But I appreciate it. I do try to be honest in my reviews and put Star Trek wherever I can. Put Star Trek to sleep for 8 to 10 years, then come back fresh and woke free. Well, I don't know. Because if you put Star Trek to sleep for another 8 to 10 years, for another decade, for example, then you're going to have a whole new fresh bunch of talent who are going to look back on Star Trek with even more foreign eyes, and foreign in terms of time, and it's going to be even more removed from what it was. Personally, there are times where I think maybe Star Trek should just be put to bed. You know, that final scene in Picard, season 1, as shockingly offensive as it was, perhaps that's the metaphor we should use. Let go of our old friend. Let him die. Let him pass. Let Star Trek just be what it was. And in some ways, that's what I've done. In some ways, that's what I've done with pre-2005 Star Trek, is I have said, that is my friend. That is gone. That's now passed on. And we are forever remembering it. And it exists forever in our memories, in our hard copies, in who we were back then and what we thought of back then. And it is safe. It is gone. It has passed. It has moved on. We remember it for what it is and what it was. What has now come to pass, and what is trying to pass as Star Trek, is not our friend. It is a facsimile. It is a copy, a bad copy, a degraded copy, a diluted copy. And it is not Star Trek, but what someone interprets Star Trek to be. That's how I generally feel. Now I review New Trek as Star Trek because they're calling it fucking Star Trek. They say all based upon Star Trek, but it's not. It's not, because if it was, it would feel like Star Trek. I'll disagree with drinking tea instead of beer. I do still drink beer, but it's very rare. I don't like to drink. I'm British. I like tea. I like to stay sober. Les Moonves should never have cancelled Enterprise. It was just getting good. I'll never forgive Les for that. Makes me sad. Les Moonves, yeah. I mean, he was a dick to Star Trek. He didn't like Star Trek. He wanted it off the air, and he succeeded. One of his final acts was to get Star Trek off the air because he hated it. I concur. The intro to House on streaming is not the same as when it was shown on air. Same song, but a different part that's a little darker and intense. I like the TV version better. Yes, I think there were seasons, though, that it changed. I liked House as a show. It's so weird to hear Hugh Laurie with an American accent, because obviously he's English. Hugh Laurie was great in that. Setlink 3, I connect to my children through the games that I play. It is awesome. Yeah, and it's great. It's great. Me and the kids will just have a fortnight match, a couple of fortnight matches. They'll piss me off because they'll never revive me, or they'll piss about and just go, haha, look how funny this is when I do this. It's like, no, people are trying to shoot us. Revive me. Or they'll just let me die, let me become a reboot card, and I'll just get so pissed off. I think, how am I going to level up doing this? And I get the dorky skins as well, because it's just fun. It is fun with the kids. You do connect with children, with the kids playing that. It is a family tradition. Wait, is Setlick the bloke that does No Man's Sky stuff? My children are not Star Trek fans yet. How sharp a serpent's tooth. Yeah. Did you play Star Trek Voyager Elite Force or Star Trek Armada? Yes, I played both of those games. I absolutely loved Elite Force because you got to walk around the halls of the Voyager. It was glitchy as hell, and they put it on the PlayStation 2, and that's where I really sort of got into playing it, but it was glitchy as hell. The PC version I've still got somewhere. I do still have the PC Star Treks, I think. Yeah, you're going to make me check now. I'm going to go check. They're right here. They're not where I thought they were. I think they're down there, to be fair. I've just dug out half my music for no reason. Oh dear, yes, but I do have them. I still have them somewhere. Season 4 was way better than 3 and 2, and kind of like the Picard Season 3 of Enterprise. Yeah, kind of like the Season 3 of Enterprise. Remember, Gene Roddenberry said that there will be Star Trek in the future, and it will be their Star Trek. Yes! How prophetic was that? I just hope Disney doesn't get the license too after what they did to Star Wars. I don't think that's very likely. You don't have to give me a plug, mate. I shared it with you out of appreciation for you and your work. As a fellow artist and entertainer, what you do is genuine and sincere, which is why people are here. I appreciate that, mate, but you will get a plug. It's the least I can do for everything that you do for me. It's reciprocal, you know, reciprocal nature. And it's what you do is good. It's great. And it's important. What I do, if you guys feel it's important, that's enough for me. I love doing what I do. I miss Star Trek experience. I miss the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas. I would always go there when I was in town. Yeah. I loved both games, but Armada played it like 10 times. Yeah, Armada was great. It was just fun because it was all modern and stuff, and you could blow shit up. Star Trek has always been a connection to my late father. And when they do these terrible new shows, it actually hurts a little. At least I can go back and watch this stuff and remember the good times. It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, my dad used to watch Star Trek quite a lot. We loved it. We loved Star Trek together. It's brilliant. And when he was, we found out he was ill, and he was, his days were numbered. And I told him what had happened to, what they'd done to Picard in Star Trek Picard, and he was just devastated. He said, that's not what Picard was. That's Data was in love with Picard. Picard was in love with Data. So, well, that's just stupid. And he got so mad and so angry. And, I thought, I was devastated because I didn't really want to tell him what had happened. But he says, I don't want to watch it because of what you've said about it. So I decided to give him my season 1. I had a season 1 of The Orville on DVD. So I decided to lend him that. I says, watch this instead. This is more Star Trek than Star Trek is right now. And he watched it. And he rang me up and he was still laughing. And my dad had a very, very distinctive laugh. He was laughing so hard. He said, oh, Richard, he said, thank you so much for introducing me to this. It is so bloody funny when he was talking about Isaac chopping Gordon's leg off. And, there's the quippy comebacks, and that's just a pure comedy. He says, I've never laughed so hard in my life. And you're right, it is so much like Star Trek. So he bought the 2 series. He bought it on DVD, gave me my DVD back, and he bought season 1 and season 2 of The Orville. And he absolutely adored it. And that was a special moment between me and my dad. When he passed in 2020, I don't think he had seen the 3rd season because it hadn't been out. And the 3rd season for me was really special, and I wanted to do a review of it, and I did. I reviewed almost every episode. I didn't manage to do the Topher episode. But The Orville I will always be thankful for because it gave me and my dad a special memory before he passed away. And he passed away in 2020 in September. So the anniversary is literally just gone. And that's the special bond that I share with my father. There was Star Trek, there was shows like that, and we had some, we shared a lot of opinions about certain episodes, and he saw me doing my streaming and stuff like that. He was always very supportive. So yeah, I do. I share a special bond with my father in that sense with Star Trek, and You'll never see the Orville season 3, which is I think is its finest season, and he would have loved that. So yeah, I understand sharing memories like that with your family, and then having Jesus telling him about what they were doing to Star Trek. It killed him a little bit inside. Ironically, it did kill a little bit off in him, in his mind. He hated what they did. I regret that I didn't get all the old series on DVD. Well, you can find them, depending on what country you're in. You can get them in second-hand stores, like in the UK. We have it's laughingly called the Sex Shop. It's CEX. So you can get them a lot in there second-hand. You can go to cash converter places. You can find them on eBay. A lot of the original series and stuff before they got changed. I know that I've got everything pre-2005 on Star Trek on DVD, so they can't change it. So that's really good to have. I've heard that a lot about the Orville. I assume I too watched Star Trek with my dad before he passed away from diabetes in 1985. Oh, bless you. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. The Orville is an immense series. Seth MacFarlane is a true Trekkie. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And Seth MacFarlane is, to me, a cocky bastard. But he has every right to be, because he's immensely funny. Some people don't gel with him. I think he's a wonderful person. If Seth MacFarlane ever watches this stream, just know this, you gave me something pretty special with my dad before he died, so thank you. What they did with Picard tarnished TNG in my memory. I used to rate it as my second favourite show, but it dropped down to third. Wow, yeah, but as I said, take it off, put it to one side, don't let anything touch it. I remember when I was 8 years old, my dad bought me and helped me build a model of the Enterprise D that hung from my bedroom ceiling, or when he made me a wooden backleth and took me to a convention. Wow, what a great memory. That's fantastic. My dad didn't take me to a convention, but he did take me to see my first Star Trek film at the cinema, and that was Star Trek Generations. Always remember that. And we saw First Contact at the cinema as well. Insurrection, I think we saw at the cinema. And Nemesis, I took my friend and at that point, my girlfriend, who didn't like Star Trek, so she didn't rate it very much, and I didn't rate it very much. I said that was a bit shit, wasn't it? Still to this day, I don't know what happened to Kalis Batleth and Tom Paris Lizard's children. I wonder why they don't make Star Trek with those stories. Well, Kalis's Batleth, I think, floated into the Delta Quadrant. It circled around the center of the galaxy and floated into the Delta Quadrant. And what happened was, as Voyager was flying home, it sort of knocked it out of the galaxy. And now it's on its way to Andromeda. Which means we'll get it back eventually when Andromeda collides back with the Milky Way. So who knows? Who knows what could happen then? And then the alien babies that Paris and Janeway had, they continue to evolve into tadpoles, and they inseminated a space eel, which then later became a Dalek. I don't know. And then went and tried to exterminate the Doctor. The Orville even got the fruit bowls right. Yep, Generations was my first film. When I was 7, I left in tears because Kurt died. My poor dad didn't know what to do. Laugh out loud. Bless you. Bless you. I was... How old was I when I saw Generations. What was Generations? Was that 1996? I think it was 1996, wasn't it? I was 13 in 1996. Those are better stories than New Trek, yeah. It just cracked me up if Kaelus's battleth just came back. And Burnham's on a spacewalk and it just comes flying. It just gets her in the face. It's just so he's like, everyone's like, Space Jesus, no! And then he starts a war with the Klingons again because Kaelis is back. Let's just took out Space Jesus. Can you imagine that? 1994, so I was 11. Yes, because I am 40 this year. That is my age. I am 40 years old. I boycotted all Kurtzman Drek after spending 1,500 on 2 Discovery uniforms before it aired in Discovery Season 2. I am not there to watch Kurtzman Drek flop. Did it ever exist? No. Oh my god. Tragic. Oh, I feel for you. Shit. Oh my word, bless you. Worst Trek film, my vote is Into Darkness. It only works as a pure comedy. The worst Trek film. See, I have to split Star Trek again between Real Trek and New Trek. So if we go Real Trek, worst Star Trek film. That's a tough tie between Insurrection and Nemesis. Insurrection felt like an episode of Star Trek, just in movie format with a bigger budget. And it really clouded what the prime directive was. Nemesis was just overblown, bloated, and ridiculous. I didn't enjoy Nemesis. I thought it was shit. And didn't really need to be told. It really didn't need to happen. Worst New Trek film. I liked 2009 Star Trek when it first came out. I thought it was a little bit different. It was something new and fresh. It was a bit of a popcorn flick and not a real thinker. But I appreciated what it tried to do. Into Darkness I thought was ridiculous, stupid. And it was like, yeah, but the Wrath of Khan was better, and why the hell have you gone through that, and why the hell? When Spock shouted, Khan! I thought, you know what? I'm out. I'm out. I nearly walked out of the freaking cinema with that. Oh, God, it was terrible. And then Kirk was suddenly alive because of Khan's super blood. It woke a Tribble up. It was just ridiculous. Sorry, it was terrible. Beyond, I didn't really rate it much as a Star Trek film. As a film in general, it was sort of okay, but it was like, it was literally just the blur of Star Trek films. Counterpoint, best Trek film, Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest is a great Star Trek documentary movie. I thought it was superb. And again, I said to my dad, you got to watch Galaxy Quest. It's just brilliant. You'll love it. And he didn't get past the first 20 seconds and switched it off. And a week later, it was about a week later, I forget, it was a while back, but about a week later, he says, well, bloody hell, Rich, I tried to watch that Galaxy Quest film. I couldn't bloody believe it. It was like I was watching a show from the 60s. How could you recommend this to me? And I said, Dad, you fucking knob. I said, that's the film within the film. I said, go back and watch it again. He went, oh, bloody hell, bloody hell. He goes back and watches it, and it becomes one of his favourite films. He said, I didn't realise. I thought it was just this bullshit. But Dad, you twat. It made me laugh. It really did. Best Trek film. That's a tie, isn't it, really? Between Wrath of Khan and Undiscovered Country. But I like all the Trek films. The motion picture one I like the least because it's a slow burner. It's like a 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it came around roughly the same time, didn't it? But it was a good film for the most part. It was a good jump into the motion picture world. I liked Search for Spock. I thought that had some really good moments in it. Voyage Home, I thought was a bit campy, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Final Frontier was a bit special. It's a bit special, but I like Doomcock's theory on that. You know, his way of thinking of that film as just a bit of a dream, like Kirk. I liked that. The Undiscovered Country was absolutely fantastic. Generations was good. I have fond memories of it simply because it was my first Star Trek film seen at the cinema. But it was like an episode of the Next Generation, just in a movie format. First Contact was brilliant. I loved it as an action film. It was great as action. Star Trek, it was great as Star Trek. It was pretty poor. And then Insurrection, I just didn't like that. You mentioned having had contact with the drinker. What would you say is the chance you'll be on one of his streams in the future? Doubtful. I doubt the drinker would have any interest in having me on one of his streams. I doubt it. I doubt he'd even remember who I was, to be fair. He may be aware of the channel, I don't know. Either way, I think he's got much bigger fish in the pond, in his pond now. Much communication with some great YouTubers. His content's fantastic, and I'm not sure I could add anything in particular to his channel or his content. But it'd be nice to have a conversation with him. Just an off-stream conversation with him would be lovely. But I don't think he's got the time. Really, he's very popular. He's done very well for himself, and I'm very pleased for him. And I think he should keep that momentum up. I'm not sure what I could add. He is much more articulate than me, and he's got his own audience, which is great. And he should have all the success in the world. Same with Dave Cullen. I'd love to sit down and have a chat with Dave Cullen about Star Trek. I'd love to speak to some of these people and have just a casual conversation, not necessarily a stream or any mention of my channel on their channel. It'd just be nice to have a conversation with them. So I'd like it to happen, but I highly doubt it would. I'm nowhere near popular enough to support anything that they do. When I heard planet-to-planet transport, I said I'm out. Yeah, transport beaming. You want to transport something the size of a grapefruit from planet A to planet B just because? No, I didn't buy it. Transport beaming. A biggest plot hole in the hall of Star Trek. Transport beaming. Nah, it's bollocks. Bollocks. So is my Scottish accent. And that's why the drinker will probably never have me on, because of my bullshit Scottish accent. Right, laddie. Fucking too right. Yeah, fucking shit, you are. Sound like Billy Connolly, but bad. I personally liked Nemesis, but I know I'm in the minority. Hey, if you liked it, you liked it. I didn't like it. Didn't like what they did with Data. I didn't agree with that at all. I can infiltrate the Kurtzman Drek fandom with those Discovery uniforms. Unfortunately, last convention, no one was wearing Discovery uniforms except me. I wore my Wrath of Khan era captain's uniform. I quickly wore him. Yeah, I would too. Undiscovered Country is my favourite, all-time favourite. First Contact for me. I like all the TOS, TNG movies, but again, I know I'm in the minority. Hey, I like them all in a certain way. I just don't particularly, Insurrection and Nemesis aren't particularly high on my list. I can watch them, and enjoy certain bits about them, but Insurrection had terrible fucking CGI. Terrible. It was horrible. Star Trek Beyond was harmless. Yeah, I suppose. It was harmless. It was harmful to the Star Trek film franchise. That's based on Beyond. They've not made any more. And Star Trek 4 just keeps going, it's being made, it's not being made, it's being made, it's not being made, it's being made, it's not being made. It's the most sort of ambivalent film that's ever been freaking suggested, I think. But yeah. Oh, God, that was a really bad Scotty impression, wasn't it? But Simon Pegg as Scotty, I could never have figured that one out either. It was an odd choice. But he clearly enjoyed doing it. But I think he toes the line a little bit too much these days. I love the Cornetto trilogy. World's End a little less than the others. I didn't really like that one too much. But yeah, Simon Pegg's great. But he's sort of... did you not feel as if he's sort of sold out to just get into these franchises? It just feels a bit weird. I don't... I think as he's got older, he's definitely lost something. I've been streaming now for 3 hours. I do have work in the morning, so I think I'm going to give everybody another 15 minutes to say what you want to say, to ask me anything that you want to ask me. I'm going to stay on air for another 15 minutes until my time, 8:30, because I've got to get something to eat. I do have work in the morning, and I've got to be up for 5 in the morning. So if you're going to have anything to say it now and keep your peace. I could kind of accept J reboots for normies if that's as far as it goes, but it infiltrated all of the Star Trek that followed. Yes, it did. And they based a lot of it on the Star Trek that followed. It was ridiculous. I could... Oh, did you ever watch Farscape, Lex, Babylon 5? What do you think of them? I've seen a few episodes of Babylon 5. I have not seen Babylon 5 in its entirety. I want to see Babylon 5, but who has the time to start an entire series with that many episodes? I really want to get into it. Farscape, I do have it on DVD somewhere, and I've not watched it. I'll be honest, I've not watched it. I inherited those DVDs from a friend, and I've not watched it. I've seen a few episodes, maybe when it was on BBC Two, way back when it was first aired, but I haven't. Lex, I did watch it. I didn't understand it because I was pretty much in my early teens, I think, when that came out. But yeah, Lex, I did watch it. The Go-Karts in the Desert was the worst TNG movie. Another bad idea by Patrick Stewart. A Jar Jar Drek is garbage. All Jar Jar Drek is garbage to be forgotten. Yeah, I didn't see the reason to get the Argo, the car thing. It was just an excuse for Patrick Stewart to have some fun, I think. Yeah, I suppose you could, have the Argo for all-terrain missions and everything like that, but you've got this alien species on this planet, primitive planet, and you've just flown away in a spaceship. Aren't they pre-warp industrial? It's kind of like Mad Max. A bit Mad Max-ish, wasn't it? Which is worse, Discovery or Rings of Power? Well, I've not seen Rings of Power because I refuse to do that. I made a commitment to my wife, who's a Lord of the Rings fan, and I will not do that to her. I will not watch the Rings of Power. I may end up getting a divorce. But I would say they're probably on par with one another. The Rings of Power is probably... No, I'd say they're on par. Farscape is good. They made it here in Australia. In Oz, the land down under. Well, to be fair, yeah, again, it's something I've really got to watch. Why not make the Argo hover? Why wheels? Because that's not cool, having a hover car. We've got to have something that breaks and corners and isn't just Patrick Stewart in a simulator pretending to do things. Yeah, it was bullshit. It was bullshit. Rings is worse, seriously. Yeah! I've heard it's pretty bad, but I refuse to watch it because I can't. I can't. It feels like I'm violating Lord of the Rings doing that. At the time I prayed Jar Jar would leave Star Trek and go and ruin Star Wars. He did. I am sorry. Based on your prayers, sir, I do believe he's ruined an entire franchise and then gone to ruin another. How dare you, sir? Bless you. Don't worry about it. It was going to happen regardless. One day I'm going to binge Farscape and Stargate. I'm binging Stargate right now, actually. I'm in the middle of it. Rings of Power or Discovery, you may as well offer me a choice of castaways. Shill time. Try One Piece. I've heard One Piece is pretty good. I'm not a massive fan of manga, but I've heard One Piece is really good. I might give that a go. Discovery or Rings of Power? That's like asking which is worse, getting kicked in the yarbles by a football player or a bodybuilder. Brilliant. Oh yeah, there's yeah, they're pretty much the same thing, aren't they? Shit, believe it or not. Bloody hell. 10 minutes left, people. 10 minutes left. Chuck anything you want at me. I'll answer anything. Almost anything. Before I go. We have 10 minutes remaining. Say what you gotta say. Let's see how the stream's doing. Shall we? Shall we? Wow. We've had 89 views. That's pretty damn good. And thank you. Again, so much for the super chats. It's so nice of you. You don't need to, but it is wonderful. Wonderful support. How is Stargate? Well, I have seen Atlantis all the way through already. I've seen Universe all the way through. SG-1, I did 2 seasons back when it first came out, and then I stopped watching it. It just didn't really gel with me. Now me and the missus are going back and watching Stargate SG-1 again to try and fill in some of the gaps, and we are enjoying it for the most part. I like it. It's a bit samey in the first 2 seasons. A lot of primitive civilizations. It's like, oh yes, we'll just go and visit this primitive civilization on this planet, who just happen to have a Stargate. And the Wraith, not the Wraith, the Gua'uld are singeing this planet or singeing that planet. So it's a bit samey, but I do like it. I didn't like Stargate. Is it really good? I've heard a lot of good things. Stargate, yes. I liked it. It's a bit 90s, but it's still quite good, yes. Stargate is awesome. Didn't like Continuum, though. I've not seen Continuum, so I can't actually judge on that one. 2 main Farscape actors end up in SG-1, and they do a Farscape scene in one of the episodes. Wow. Yeah, I've got to watch Farscape now. John Chow with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks, and thank you. Wow, you are very generous. Thank you so much. That is amazing. Thank you. Wow, you guys, seriously, love you all, genuinely. Gene Roddenberry is spinning in his grave, and now it's basically a rotisserie. You fucker. I'll finish the comment in a minute. Oh, you fucker. Oh, you know I find something funny when I snort. It's a rotisserie. We could solve the energy crisis with kinetic energy. Oh, that comment may win the fucking stream. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry, that tickled me. You hit the spot there. Well done. Funny bone touched, yeah. Oh, timing. I know. Sorry. I know Robert Picardo is in Atlantis. Yes, he is. He plays a character called Richard Woolsey. It's like president of something. I don't know. He's Robert Picardo. He might as well just be playing the Doctor. As Robert Picardo pretty much plays anything. He was funny during the pandemic. If you ever saw his videos, he was constantly making videos during the pandemic because he was quite funny. He's a funny bloke, really. A good actor, a funny bloke. Right though, Gene Roddenberry spinning could power the globe for centuries. Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Ah, oh, phenomenal. He is. I'll be honest. I would be spinning in my grave too, if I was him. God damn, what have they done to it? Like I said, it's a new generation's interpretation of it, but I think it's a far inferior Trek to what we had before. It is inferior, and I'm going to be around to point fault at it and point these things out because that's what I do. Because I'm a Star Trek fan, I do love and enjoy Star Trek, and I'm sorry that if I hurt people's feelings or I don't. I am sorry, but it is my opinion. It's why my channel exists. I'll get some nasty comments, and I'll tell you what, I do get some nasty comments, but I get some passive-aggressive ones as well. People saying, how on earth do you have 1,500 subs? And it's like, well, hard work and dedication, thank you very much. People come to see. It's what they do. Gene and James are spinning in orbit above our heads. That's why they had to shoot his remains out into space. My God, Bones, what have they done? There's someone on the wing. Something. Facts, feelings. Yeah, exactly. Star Trek. Less about the facts, more about your feelings. God. It's a rotisserie. Zell, yeah, I think you win. I think you win the comment of the stream. That was a good one. It tickled me. New Star Trek is Kardashian in space of the new generation. Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous format. I think the next stream I am going to do another stream. Probably next weekend. And I think that stream will be discussing our favourite Star Trek episodes. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. I've got a few minutes left. Talking favourite Star Trek, let's do a happy stream. Let's do our favourite Star Trek episodes. I'll also try and get a guest on for upcoming stream. I will try and get Clayton on again. He is so busy though, and bless him, he's going through the ringer at the minute. So as soon as he's got some time, I'll schedule a stream with Clayton, because he is a great friend of the channel, and he's such a genuinely nice bloke. He's like he's just the nicest bloke you'd meet, and he's such a lovely, brilliant fella. So please, again, show him your love and support. Sounds good. Focus on the positive. Yeah, absolutely. Feelings in corridors. Yeah, in the pale moon. Yeah, yes, in the pale moonlight for me. Yeah. We'll talk about all decent Star Trek. Or we'll do a why we love Star Trek stream. I think that will be really good. We're gonna have some. We can point fun at the Star Trek we love, because it's at least good. It's at least good. I just want to say on closing, because we are running a little bit out of time. I am getting tired. I want to say thank you to everybody, to you watching. Post post live and live. Thank you for all of your super chats. Super chats are to me completely unnecessary, but very, very welcome, and thank you so much for them. It makes me feel a lot of warmth, so thank you very much for those. And hopefully I've entertained you somewhat, and you've enjoyed the stream. I've enjoyed talking for 3.5 hours. And I've enjoyed your company. And thank you for subscribing and staying with me for all this time. And thank you for setting time aside in your day. And I won't forget to watch TOS, don't worry. I will watch it at something. Always happy to be here and break you with funny comments. You nearly got me with that one, I'll tell you. You very nearly did. That was brilliant. Thank you for having us and the chat. Thank you so much. Means so much. You guys are awesome. You don't need to be here, but you are here, and that makes me so happy. And I hope that everything, I hope everything happens. And like I said, I do hope that some of the YouTubers will come along and say, oh, come on, UK Danger Man, you've been in the darkness for too long. Come and join us here in the light. But I doubt that will happen. But it's always nice to think about. Just another watch nerd. Thank you for your time. Have a great week. Or a £2 super chat. Thank you so much. You didn't need to do that. Again, people don't need to do it, but it's thank you so much. Setlick 3 Gaming, I live next to a guest actor that was on Voyager. I'll ask if he wants to come on with you. He is gone most of the time. I'll try. Oh, mate. Wow, that'll be fantastic. That'll be phenomenal. That means I'll have to think of some questions. Holy crap. I'll have to do some research. But yeah, that'll be superb. But again, don't push it. Just don't push it too much. If he says no, he says no. That'll be great though. Thank you, Jimmy77. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I have gone slightly over, but I will see you all very soon. Probably next weekend for another stream. We'll do this again because this was fun. But thank you so much, everybody, for all your support. I can't say thank you enough. I'm just going to keep saying thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll give you a heads up. Thank you very much, Setlick 3. Thank you for coming. Thank you for that. I'll be randomly spamming your name channel in the drinkers chat. Yeah, don't piss him off with it. He probably goes, oh, yeah, fucking hell, I've heard enough of that fucking UK Danger Man. Well, anyone who fucking spams his name is going to get banned from my channel. Again, a really shitty Scottish accent. But thank you very much. Bye. Take it easy, everybody. Love to you all. I'm going to go to bed. Actually, I'm going to get some food, and then I'm going to go to bed. But thank you so much. Take it easy, everyone. See you next time. And I'll close with a Picard impression. There you go.